All right, and we are live. Hey guys, welcome to Plus One's Twitch channel. We're excited today to be playing Dark Peaks. We love getting to play new indie designs. Kieran is going to be our GM. He's also the game's designer. This is a new game for all of us playing. It's the first time any of us have got a chance to play this. So the great thing about playing with the designer is they get a chance to introduce their game to us, explain their game to us. Thank you so much for being here live or for watching the replay here or on YouTube later on. We're going to take a break about halfway through. We're going to play for about 3 or 4 hours. And so about 2 hours in, either a time I deem or if Kieran hits an especially like thematic time where he thinks a pause is going to create great tension, he can call it also. We'll take a break to let everybody get up, walk around, take a stretch, all those things too. We've got lines, veils, and the X card in play. And then Kieran just walked us through a bunch of things that we may or may not be bothered by as far as violence goes. So, not a lot of teeth damage. We're more comfortable being emboweled than we are being disemboweled. Lots of things we learned about ourselves right beforehand. But with that said, I'm going to actually have everybody just kind of whip around and introduce themselves. Like I said, I'm Tony, and I'm Chief Alchemist at Plus One. You can find us at Plus One Exp. But let's go to somebody who's brand new to our channel, Carlina. Carlina, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, goody. Hi, I am Carlina Parker. I am primarily a musical theater actress in the before four times, now dipping my toe into nerd girlisms because I love tabletop and stuff. So really excited to be here.
Awesome. Gary, give us as to who you are.
Carlina, you make a good point. We do live in the end times now, and I used to be a
For
child
sure,
crime
for sure.
detective in the pre-times, but the
Mhm.
end times has driven me to this corner of nerd culture comedy, tabletop role-playing games. I do video game reviews for Nerdtropolis on Xbox. I'm everywhere. I'm all over the place. Follow me on Twitter at CasualtyCDG, but you can call me Gary.
Awesome. All right, and then our Alex Murray. How's it going, man?
What's up? It's pretty good. I happy to be back in the saddle with plus everything awesomeness. Yeah, I'm Alex. I'm a comedian, actor, podcaster, all over the internet at our Alex Murray, making jokes and whatnot.
Yeah, one of the many Alex Murrays out there, but you are
It's too
number
many.
one in our hearts. And so,
Best beard for sure.
and then Kieran, go ahead and introduce yourself to us also.
Hi, I'm Kieran. I'm the creator of the Dark Peaks, and I'm the principal producer, creator, editor, occasional artist for the Dark Peaks, which is my my TTRPG publishing company, which we set up in April last year. What? April last year? No, April this year. Like, we've only been doing this 6 months. It's madness.
Time means nothing anymore.
It's
dude.
almost like
It's
the
okay.
world shut down and you had plenty of time, and then time slowed down and you had
Yeah.
even more of it.
Days of the week are purely decorative at this point. Like, doesn't matter.
Well,
I
as
remember March.
in the before times, I was a primary and middle school teacher. I was lucky enough to continue being a primary and middle school teacher, but now I do it from home, staring at the walls, remembering what a classroom felt like. Remembering the sound of the bell, the squeak of the
Aw.
chalk.
The laughter of children.
Kieran actually
Little
lives in the
children.
future, so it's Saturday night for most of us. It is Sunday morning for him because he is over in Malaysia. But he's also the designer, like I said, of the game and our GM for this evening. So, Kieran, tell us a little bit about the Dark Peaks and what we can kind of expect as we get into the session tonight.
Okay, so the Dark Peaks is the game that I've always wanted to play. Every game that we create for the Dark Peaks is in a short form. It's one of the team's games that they want to play. So we take ideas from other systems, and then we basically say, what do we like the most out of these systems? So what we do is we create very effectively quite personal games for people. So when you're playing the Dark Peaks, you're not playing some corporate idea. It's been play tested extensively, but the core of it is a single person's idea of what their idea of fun is. The Dark Peaks Deep Moor, or the Dark Peaks, the Festival of Swords, I really should have come up with a better name because now the company and the game are called the same thing, and it gets confusing.
It
And,
happens.
you know,
It happens.
yeah, whatever. It felt like a good idea in April. The the Dark Peaks is my addition to the old school Renaissance because I've played a lot of D&D, I've played a lot of Vampire the Masquerade, I've played a lot of different styles of games. And what I wanted to do with the Dark Peaks is I wanted to create something which is uniquely stressful and uniquely scary. It's not scary like Call of Cthulhu. It's not a horror game. But what it is, or what it with luck we'll discover as we're playing, is it's a sustained narrative tension. There's no moment when we're not grinding to survive. There's no real moment during the Festival of Swords where you don't where survival is guaranteed.
You just get ready to have horrible stomach pains for like the next 3 hours that are for the course.
So if your thought was let's hop on a stream and decompress, you should go check out another stream.
yeah. The combat. The one thing I really wanted to do is I wanted the combat to speed up. I'm probably one of the few. This is one of the few game systems where I want the game to get faster when you're in combat. I was trying to create not just the mechanical idea of combat, but the actual emotional effect of what it does. Now, we're not going to be using it tonight. We're going to be using a couple of alternative rules because it's a learning game and because we're online, which creates its own different issues. But what you would normally do in the Dark Peaks is you have timed phases, and you have to get everything done as a group in that timed phase, or it doesn't happen. So you have a period of complete panic, followed by a period of rolling some dice, followed by finding out what went wrong that turn. So that's what. So that's what we were aiming to do with the Dark Peaks. The other thing which I've discovered, which the group of people I work with is, apparently we make working class RPGs. We never start with heroes. We never start with lords. We never start with there's no like you are the hero of the realm or you will be a hero of the realm. There's no prophecy in our games. There is you are a weaver. You are a harvester. You are a peasant with a delusion of grandeur. Will you make it? We're not sure. We're not sure. But good luck to you. Well done. Take a step up there. Social mobility via swords.
No, I'm really excited about it. Even looking through it, it was evident, and we'll come back to some of this at the end. We'll talk a little bit about some of our reactions to the system, but I just really loved a lot of the things you put in this game that made it hard. And a lot of OSR systems really embrace like player creativity, player-driven choices, not as much focus on what is my character's ability, but you did that with stress also. So you're like, how do I induce stress in the player anytime they might want to go use a power? And I think that's an incredibly great meta mechanic that is evident in a lot of the ways you did it. Hopefully people get a chance to see that as we're kind of going through. I'll function sometimes as kind of a caller for things. So if it's your first time on one of our streams, like I may dive in with a question from time to time, or just announce breaks or other things like that, so that Kieran can focus specifically on GMing and I can just help out with everything else, including managing the stream and running all those pieces. Kieran, do you want us to go around and introduce our characters at the beginning, or do you want us to introduce them narratively in play?
Well, because we only have a limited time, I'm going to dovetail the introduction to the session.
Okay.
Normally what I do is I'd spend some time with the players, working out the characters. Now, characters in Deepmore tend to be famously short-lived. We may lose somebody tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose somebody tonight.
Alex already volunteered, so.
All right, Alex. So,
just know it, man. Okay. I feel it coming. Start.
But we'll all have a character at the end of the session because so what we're doing tonight, I'll give you some general ideas. What we're doing tonight is the Festival of Swords. The Festival of Swords is the introductory adventure to Deepmore. It's a short form of the core rules, and it's available for free on Drive-through RPG. Drive-through RPG. You can download it. You can pay the $3 if you want to. You can get it for free. It's a complete standalone adventure for the Dark Peaks, and it does dovetails beautifully into the core rules. So if you get that, you can then pick up the core rules and go much deeper into the system. So what we're doing tonight is very much an introduction of the setting, an introduction of a few of the monsters. But there's so much more in the system that I'll probably talk about either during or maybe afterwards to say what the wider features of this game actually are. Cool. All right. I tried to get audio for this. I tried to get like music and sound effects and screaming people and lots of oh god, it's in my leg. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it to work, so we're going to be down to silly voices and sound effects.
Not silly voices, my least favorite thing in the world.
I
So
thought your body horror Foley just then was truly excellent. I don't know how you could have found anything better, really.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone feels like they want to try doing a Stormtrooper style Wilhelm scream at some point, that would add, I think, to the ambiance quite nicely. There we go. Excellent. Yeah, good start. So let's begin. I mean, we at the Dark Peaks, you don't, as I've said, you don't start as anyone special. You don't even have a character class. You're not a warrior. You're a profession. So it would be great if you could go through each of your characters, tell me about your character, tell me their name, tell me their profession, and crucially, tell me what they're scared of, because that has a important mechanical factor in Deepmore. So, Tony, do you want to go first?
Sure. I am playing as Richard Tinker Tavi. His friends oftentimes call him Ricky. I loved watching Alex get that right now. Like he saw it in print earlier, but now it just landed for him. And so he is a tinker, and he is somebody who's always felt at home with the mechanical realities of the world. He's somebody who's kind of voracious for knowledge, so he's motivated by seeking answers and gaining knowledge, and he is afraid of the unnatural and unexplainable.
Oh, excellent! All right. Great. So I've already got what does he look like in terms of his physicality, in terms of what he's dressing? Bear in mind
he's
that
real
we're
good looking.
Sort of...
No, he wears a leather apron around most of the time. He's got medium length, kind of shaggy hair, and a shaggy beard, thick. Like the only thing that's physically impressive about him is really his hands. Like he's got a worker's hands from doing a lot of fine manipulation and applying a lot of strong force to these little mechanisms or repairs that he'll do around town. He's from South Slope, but he's come to the Festival of Swords to try his luck. So that's really the only physically impressive thing about him.
Excellent. All right. Carolina.
Yes, I created a poacher whose name is Sloan Ranger.
Nice.
I said that she is motivated by self-sacrifice and she fears loss.
Ooh. Can you explain where those motivations came from in terms of your character?
In terms of me, the dice, but in terms of character, I have a feeling that she had like some really close people to her, like friends or family, and then lost them, and that's probably why she spends so much time in the woods these days. She probably doesn't have any very close relationships anymore since she fears loss. She doesn't want to let anyone close.
Yeah, perfect. And what does a Sloan Ranger look like?
Probably covered in a lot of like leathers and hides. You'd call her a badass, but she has this like stillness to her that makes her a little creepy. Because she's out there hunting all the time, so she's like really good at being still and like hidden and stuff. Definitely someone you don't want to fuck around with.
That's awesome. Everyone is equally in danger in the moor. So
Great.
Gary.
My name's Kazul the Farmer of Brookshire. Most people think I'm a butcher, but I'm a pig farmer. I farm with my hammer here, and I call her Old Betsy. He's a very large, stout man who wears a leather apron covered in pig's blood. He has a big, fat belly that sticks out, obviously, underneath his short shirt. Sweaty
Yeah.
and greasy, you wonder how this man continues to sweat as he stands idle.
So that's amazing. That the visual just creates itself.
Yeah.
I'm afeard of the unnatural, and also my motive is redemption for the things I done wrong in my past. I used to be a slaver.
All right.
Oh.
From slaver to pig farmer to crusader. All right then. That's quite a life path you've gone on there. I'm afraid in my enthusiasm I did miss his name though. I was laughing too
I'm
hard.
sorry, my name is Kazul. That's Kazul, and I'm a pig farmer.
Like, yeah. Sorry, what was your profession again? I didn't pick that up both times you said it. A
my
pig
gosh.
farm. Okay, all right.
That's right, this is my hammer old Betsy.
Anyway, yes. Finally, sorry, Alex.
Right, my name is Bill, and I'm no. I'd like to introduce all of you to William of Nye. Bill to his friends. He's a shepherd, but he actually has been tending hens. His bosses, his famous Cy hens, and around town people just call him Bill the Cy hen guy, and he's fucking sick of it. So he is headed off into the world to see if there's just he's motivated by exploration. There's got to be something better, bigger, and more interesting out there than just this field full of hens. He is scared that he's been going a little crazy. He does sit out in the field, the hen field, all day because there's hen fields. Because I said it, and he just talks. He's got his crook that he calls Shanks. We've all got named things, and he just talks to it all the time. Like he's always talking to his it's just like Wilson, his only buddy out there with the hens. He's like 5'3", real wiry, shock of red hair, huge eyes that never stop darting sort of everywhere, looking for wolves and whoever else wants some of his sweet hens. And yeah, so he sort of does a lot of muttering to his stick and looking for danger.
Excellent. All right. What wonderful characters. Like, what brilliant character introductions. That's great. Thank you so much, guys. All right. So I'll do, if it's all right with you, I'll do about 2 minutes of narrative introduction now. So I'll just run you through the world. I'll run you through what's happened. I'm aware that a lot of you have already read a bit of the background, but I figure for the audience, it's probably good to know where we are and what we're doing. Would you like me to use my BBC radio producers? London calling, darling. So the festival has been called. You, from your villages and from your tiny towns that dot this enormous region, you have heard the word. It's passed it's passed from mouth to mouth, from messenger on horseback. Signs have been going up in local taverns. The festival has been called the Festival of Swords. Everyone who wants to fight, everyone is needed to fight. Come to Deepmoor. Come to the village of Deepmoor Fell. We will arm you. We will armor you. And then you will go into the darkness to fight the Dweller. No one knows what the Dweller is. No one's seen the Dweller. But every generation, the Dweller rises. And when the Dweller rises, the darkness of Deepmoor, the monsters and the creatures which live within it are stirred to a frenzy. And out of this frenzy, they come out of the mountain, first as individuals, first and then in groups, and then eventually, if this is left unaddressed, as an army to sweep down across the land and destroy everything in their path. It's known that without these being stopped, this will happen. Heroes must rise. They must come to the mountain, but kind of a small group of heroes and kind of a lot of people So like lots of people, and then like small group of heroes. And yeah, you know, the mathematically speaking, the chances are not good that you will be the hero. But hey, it's worth a try, right? It's got to be better than being at home. So what you've done is you've been told that the microphone. You've been told that the festival is rising. You make your way across well-trodden tracks, hundreds, thousands of people making their way towards the dark peak of Deepmoor. It sits on the horizon like a squatting monster looking down upon the land. And normally it's quiet. Normally it just sits as a reminder to the incipient evil that lives beneath the world. But now it is threatening. Now the mountain is growling, and we have to respond. You four have joined the pilgrims on the long road to Deepmoor. You've walked the paths for days and weeks. You've come from your villages, from your hamlets, having never traveled more than 3 or 4 miles from your homes. But today is the end of one part of your adventure and the beginning of another. How did you guys meet on the road? Quickly summarize it for me.
I mean, I would have been walking along muttering to my stick sort of about people. Perhaps I like walked past Kazul just like muttering about like I can't believe this butcher's here.
I've been training for this for years. For the past 2 years, I've been smashing pigs, working on smashing beasts. Ain't nobody ready for this like I am. I'll lead the charge into the mall.
Yeah, Bill like that.
I assume I may have happened upon them, and since I am poacher and like used to hunting in the woods and not, where domesticated animals are, maybe these idiots needed some help if we're like going anywhere for a long period of time.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Bill wouldn't know how to hunt for himself. I mean, would you be able to like sell stuff on the road? Because if you got a whole bunch of pilgrims right headed to Deepmaw and they all need like is there trade in that, right?
Yeah.
Like there's sort of like its own weird black market that develops like on the road. Yeah, maybe we just bought some food from you and like got to talking and just sort of clicked up.
Yeah, I think Ricky he noticed that Kazul's pants kept on falling down because his belt buckle was broken. And Kazul didn't seem bothered by this, but pretty much everybody else was. And so he as he was going through and kind of plying his trades, people kept on mentioning this to him. Like anytime he would finish like doing a minor repair on somebody's, wagon wheel or, helping fix a cage that had broken, people would always be like, "Thank you so much. Have you noticed that guy's pants falling down over and over again?
Save us from the crack, please, Ricky."
So, please, sir, stop. The maw is a danger, but the crack attack is worse. Can you do anything? And so I helped repair his belt.
Help us.
One day.
Sloan barely talks to people. She asked you to fix his pants.
If you can stare into the eye of the beast, you can handle anything.
Who just out of interest, who fears the unnatural? I mean, you're having a bit of an issue here. It's wide, like the arse cracks are like separate, and it's deep. There's shadowing.
No, he has to take his pants. He can't see it. It's on the other side of him. I make him take his pants off. And
it's blacker than black. How'd that happen?
And I
left home to explore, but I don't want to explore that. No, thank you.
All right, so from the arse crack of the butcher to the rabbit hide of the poacher, you guys form, let's call it an uneasy companionship. You don't know each other particularly well, but you're all going to the same place. Carolina has skills with a bow. Gary has clearly skills with his blood-splattered sledgehammer, which he'll show to anyone and everyone frequently, even if they don't ask it. Tony's good. Tony's clearly good with his hands, which is always a useful skill. And Alex is always looking to make a trade on the road, which keeps you guys in both food and drink and comfort all the way to the mountain. Now that you're on your way, the other thing which you've abandoned is part of your identity. In leaving your village, you have left your trade behind you. You are now soldiers of Deepmoor. You are now adventuring folk, which means your old trades of poacher, weaver, butcher, tinker, those aren't your roles anymore. So now you take on the name of your village. So from everywhere around the mountain, thousands of people, each from a village that no one has ever heard of, are arriving. You arrive. You travel through the land. Slowly as you travel, the land gets steeper until eventually you start climbing the bloody path up the flanks of Deepmoor, which is a huge, craggy, Everest-style mountain. It's not as large as Everest. It's not even close, but it is a very slab-sided, very jagged piece of rock. It does not match anything around it in the environment. Carlina, whose character name is Sloane. Sloane, one day as you're traveling, you something feels odd and you scrape away the soil. Now you're a creature of the forest. You're used to looking at soil, looking at the growth, and you scrape away the soil and you dig, and you only have to dig about 12 inches until you reach a black obsidian surface of the mountain. This is not like any mountain you've ever seen before. It should not be here. There is something essentially unnatural about this mountain. But in the local area, it's called the Dark Peak, and it's been here for as long as anyone can remember. All right, you arrive the night before the festival, and the village of Deepmoor Fell is alight with thousands and thousands of people. People are crammed into alleyways. Every little inn and tavern is full of people. It's like every rock concert you've been to, except everyone is terrified out of their mind. So it's like, it's like a Slipknot concert, right?
Sure.
You arrive there and you're just immediately embraced and squished by all of these people all around you. And the sense is one of doomed revelry. It is very much the Roman, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we might die. And even as you walk throughout, no one's really sure what's going to happen. Nobody's quite aware. The story is going around. The Dweller has risen. Hey, we have to fight the Dweller. Hey, we're going to go fight the Dweller. Yay, we're going to go and explore Deepmoor. Yay. Then someone says, how? And everyone's like, I'm not sure. I don't know, really.
I'll tell you how. We go in head first with our hammer swinging. It's how my father died, me older brother, and I'm not letting it take me.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And everyone looks at Kazul and is like, we should stick with him. He seems useful, and also, if it comes down to it, we can hide behind him. And then they go behind you and they look at the.
No,
no, it's like stitched up. Like it's we've repaired it. It's attached to his belt now. He can't.
Perhaps you don't understand the downwind is a word of caution.
So you spend as an uneasy companionship. You spend the evening. What do you generalize your evening for me? It is effectively the last night of the day, the last night of your life as you knew it. So what do you spend the evening doing?
I don't think Bill's ever been drunk before. And I think he has a beer and he likes it. Like he was like pretty like not having a, like everybody's like really thrilled and excited. And I think it occurs to him that he may have headed into something a little more deadly than he thought about. So he had some nerves. But that's sweet mead. Like, the confidence in this glass. You can't believe it. So he's just at the bar, like with his arm around his his fucking stick, just chatting with it, and be like, "This is great. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna go in. We're gonna kill a demon, kill a Dweller. I'm ready. Got new friends."
Now, because you've never tried beer before, what you don't realize about the beer is it's mountain beer, which means it's cold in the mountains, and you want as strong a beer as you like. So you're not drinking beer as you would understand
taste the Rockies.
Yeah, you're drinking a mix of mead and
Silver Arrowhead.
very, very rough whiskey. So yeah,
Oh.
you are steaming at this
Okay.
point. So Sloan, how are you spending your
Mhm.
evening?
She's probably making sure like all of her arrows and her bow are as good as they're gonna get. She's probably people watching to see who would be the best to like teamwork with and who, if need be, is the easiest to sacrifice. Like someone, I don't know, loud who would just run in headstrong. That you could pick people off who are paying attention to that. So she's kind of strategizing. She might have like half a beer or two, but she likes to stay frosty.
That's fair enough. The mountain air is cold and sharp and whips through your clothes. So staying frosty, it's not an issue. like you can absolutely do that just by being outside
Yeah.
for 5 minutes.
Yep.
William, have I already done?
That was
William,
me.
right? It's
That's
Alex.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill. So Bill, we've done. Kazul, we've done. Sloan Ranger, we've done. Tony,
Ricky.
Richard. Sorry.
Yeah, Ricky. He kind of gets absent-minded sometimes. Like he's taking things in. He spends a lot of time just kind of initially walking around the town. He eventually finds a place kind of near a fire pit. He spends most of the evening just kind of staring into it, somberly reflecting, just kind of working wire in between his hands. It's largely just absent-minded movement. It's not necessarily focused on anything else, but just kind of considering this moment of juxtaposition before his life changes irrevocably.
Absolutely. And though I'm a little afraid to ask, what's Kazul up to?
So you must stay limber before a fight, no time for drinking, you must party afterwards. So I got to look for a place to have a street wrestling match or maybe just a bare-knuckled fight. That way I'm ready to go in the morning.
Absolutely. So Ricky, you're contemplating the future that might be ahead of you. You're contemplating the dangers of what you're about to do. You're contemplating the truth of this experience that you're about to have, this clarifying lens moment in your existence, and you're considering, what will be of me? What is my future? Is my future to be an adventurer, or is this going to be as dangerous as I think it is? And there's a lot of deep thoughts, and then you hear in the background, "Ah, what are you looking at, Lolly? I'm gonna fucking smash your face!" And there's like the noises and then and then there's Kazul, how does your fight go?
It's a really muddy wrestling match. It's in a closed-off pigsty. It was the only place to fight. There's mud. There's elbows. I don't think anybody really wins at the end of a fight like that. Both guys are muddied up. Both guys are bloodied up, and they'll see each other tomorrow on the battlefield.
Bill was taking bets on it the whole time, followed it out, and was trying to run game, like drunkenly trying to get odds from people. Bet.
I'm actually gonna.
In that case, I'll roll for a solution if you want. If you want to make money.
I normally don't do this in the narrative introduction, but please roll an acuity check to see how you do with that one.
All right.
First
so
roll
here
of
we
the
go.
game.
What's happening now? I'm just rolling a d4, right?
Rolling a d4.
Yep, roll a d4.
So I got a 3, and then I add my 1, so it's a 4.
Absolutely. So that's generally speaking, that's a pretty high roll. For combat checks, I'm going to tell you what the challenge rating is. For ability checks, I'm not going to tell you what the challenge rating is. You guys can roll. And then what I can do is I can say, oh, you might want to push that, which means you can take a risk dice if you feel it's worth it.
Sure.
Or you can just say, no, I'm happy with the result of that. So a 4 is pretty good. You managed to get a few bets going. Somebody, you before you know it, some people are throwing some silver shillings in there. Like, it's all going pretty well. Just broadly speaking, where's the betting going? Like, towards Kazul or his opponent?
Oh no, I'm taking bets on Kazul. And I mean, I guess maybe you're gonna have gotten into a fight with some other person who I imagine was walking around looking for a fight, so perhaps has sort of a retinue as are we. Yeah, so I'd say, like, as soon as somebody is like, I wander out super confident because I've had half a glass of whiskey beer, and just as soon as I see that happening, I think that same instincts to like give us anything we can like kick in, and I just start. Somebody says you can't beat our man Zukal, and I'm like Zukal, and start taking bets on Kazul immediately. Yeah.
All right.
Run in my mouth.
Given the situation, Kazul, I'd like you to roll a physicality check to see how, just generally speaking, how you do in this fight.
Absolutely. 4. I rolled a 4 plus 2 from physicality.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, all right. So
here
here comes the teeth horror.
Yeah, like how, like, just as a character, like how much restraint does Kazul have? Like, is he a dirty fighter? Is he a fairly clean fighter? Like, what's his style?
There's no reason to permanently injure or kill this guy, but I do beat the crap out of this guy until he's unconscious for sure. But not after. No hits on the ground, no stomping on the head, no dirty tricks. Maybe I'll throw some mud. Maybe I'll low blow. I've tug some hair.
Okay.
Dirty, but not violent.
Dirty, but not too violent. All right. So you guys watch for a while, and it seems to be going one way. And then suddenly, Kazul finds another level. So he steps forwards. He lamps the guy, hits him in the cheek, lamps the guy, hits him in the cheek. The guy's like, oh, where did that come from? And then Kazul just kind of steps up and just throws just a straight jab into the guy's face, and there's this sort of collective ooh in the crowd as you like hear this and it's a very audible as his nose breaks and like blood flies behind him in a sort of very graceful arc, and the guy goes from like to immediately, and just lands in the mud with an epic thud, and then
we should have come here nights ago. We'd have been ready.
And with that little gambling victory, oh wow, that's awesome. With that little gambling victory, William has managed to acquire himself 6 additional silver shillings from his profits from the pot.
Hey,
Nice.
Did we start off with money? Did we have money or stuff?
No.
Okay, sweet.
The problem is
This may actually be-
Shanks bet against you. That's the only problem.
Oh, Shanks. I'm like we did pretty good, right? Yeah, we killed it. Yeah, absolutely. Like a stick.
Yeah, so like this may very well be he's gone to get a stick, hasn't he?
Oh, I think he literally went
Off
to
the
fight.
ground.
Yeah, right? We did pretty great. I can't believe it. Yeah, you and me, we're going to do great. We're going to kill it in the dungeon. Everything's looking up.
This may very well be the first money you've ever received in your life. Like, currency is pretty rare, except up on the mountain where it's the given thing. But you guys are peasants. Most of the trade you do is in goods and kind. So you'll trade a week's work for food and board. So this is like little silver coins, kind of heavy in your palm, sort of shiny in the murk. It looks like wealth, and
feels
it's
good.
Kind of entrancing.
I
Yeah,
feel,
it feels
I
good.
feel powerful for the first time in my life. I feel better than all the people that don't have any. That's weird.
Yeah. And if you have
I
another,
feel like the rules
drink-
don't apply to me anymore.
Yeah,
Oh my god!
and if you go back to the bar and have another drink, I think you might feel even more powerful still.
Hell yeah. I figured it all out.
So, if I may, I'll dovetail into our adventure now with our little segue. William, Bill, you wake up on the bar. It was a good night. You wake up on the bar with 3 silver shillings. Where the other 3 have gone, nobody knows. But there's a very happy-looking barkeeper. And he's like, "You're right there. You're right, love. Yeah,
I'm pretty
you're
good.
okay.
Are you good? You're good? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're good. Thanks.
Yeah, you were talking to a stick. You were.
He's my friend. He's great. It's good company. And if you, you're trying to protect some hens, he's your man. Anyway, thanks for. Oh, hey, just real quick. Oh, does drinking a whole lot have like repercussions at all? Or I feel
No.
weird.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Okay,
It's all right.
cool.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Just make sure if you survive to come back later, right? And then we can continue this experiment.
Oh yeah,
into-
absolutely. This is
Yeah,
a great place.
yeah.
My new favorite place. This is my stool.
Yeah.
Keep it open.
Yeah. It's a place where everyone knows your name.
That's me, Billy.
Yeah, because you were yelling it last night right loud to anyone that would listen. And you were stood on the bar yelling, I'm Billy and this is my stick. And
It all comes back. All comes flying back.
so the rest of you awaken from your various sleeping places and you hear the hubbub of the Festival of Swords. This is the day. This is the morning. This is where it all begins. And as you make your way towards the main square, somebody hands you a piece of red fabric, like a red dyed bandana. And you see that people are tying them on their arms, or they're putting them around their heads, or wearing them as neckerchiefs. And it's clearly an indicating mark. As you walk into the square is divided between the warriors, or the would-be warriors, in the center, who are in a loose group of several hundred. And then around the edge of the town, there's lots of people just kind of watching. And I suppose that when you came here, you thought this would be glorious. But the looks of the expression of the people who were watching is somewhere between Sloan Rangers, I could hunt that down and kill it quite easily, and Kazul's, if I hit the pig right there, it's going to die. And they have this very sort of, there's no joy. There's just sort of a very calculating expression, as if they're watching to see who's going to come back. Already ahead of you on the side of the mountain at the edge of the town is lined at the edge with rocky ruins and an ancient collapsed structure which maybe looked like a castle at some point, but is now nothing more than tumbled stone. And already you can see the ant-like figures of individuals in weapons and armor heading up the paths towards the mountainside. The advance parties have already left. That you're not late. This isn't a thing where you're late, but the advance parties are already off, and you can see that they're making their way up the mountain. Around you as well are well-armed individuals. These have they're a bit bulkier than you. They have chipped equipment, rusty leather, rusty chainmail, worn leather, and they have an air of arrogant confidence about them. And they're kind of watching the would-be warriors as you walk past, and they're like, "Oh, well, that one, I reckon he's going to piss his pants and run." And then another one's like, "Yeah, but that one over there, I reckon he might make it for a day or two. Yeah, I reckon for a day or two." And the other one's like, Nah, they're all going to die. They're pretty much all going to die. It's not like the festival was last time. I can't think that they're going to make it. You guys join the queue. There is clearly a queue, and it's headed towards a massive white tent. I'm just going to say, for narrative convenience, that you guys form a group together. And this massive stained white tent, very old. You can see where it's been patched and lined. Smells of mildew and ice. And you walk into the dark interior, and there's huge tables set up in front of you. There's a table of just all these different weapons. Yeah, all of them, like thousands of different weapons, just lined up on tables and on racks. And in front of it is a large, older gentleman with a big white beard, sort of brushy hair, quite narrow eyes. And then beyond it, you see a similar display, but made up of armor. And there's a sort of someone who looks like they're in charge, or at least if they're not in charge, they're yelling like they're in charge, which I guess is the same thing. And they're like, come on, move along, we've got to go. Come on, it's busy. Come on, don't dawdle, don't wait.
Over to the man with the beard, and I say, I want to trade in old Betsy for new Betsy. You have anything like this in metal?
So as you step forwards, the guy pretty much ignores you. It's a hubbub of noise, and then he just looks you up and down and says, all right. Keeps it out. He's like, no, you want to keep that there, lad. Keep that there. You're going to need it, but I'll give you something else. And now I would like you to roll 4d6, please, and tell me what the result is.
4d6.
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody, and we'll do it in sequence.
Sure.
2, 3, 6, 2.
which adds up to a total of.
Oh, look, I'm doing math.
Yeah, sorry, a little bit of math there.
13.
Say that again, please. Sorry?
13, I believe.
13. All right. So he looks at the table, he kind of sizes you up, and then almost at random, he kind of picks something out of the back and gives it to you. And he says, here you go. This will set you up fine. All right, next. Come along, next. And he's given you a morning star with a missing point. A rusty morning star with a missing point. Who's next in the queue, please?
Garbage weapons.
I'm next in the queue. I got
Okay.
16.
16. So the gentleman, the armorer, kind of looks you up and down, and he sort of sizes you up and kind of looks at you a bit, looks at your hands, and he says, right, I got the perfect thing for you. And then he reaches behind him, again, almost at random, and gives you an axe. Just gives you like this massive axe with like a curved face and like a big chip on one corner, and it's kind of rusty and the leather's falling off the haft. And he's like, yeah, you'll be fine. Go and kill a duskling. It'll be fine. It's a perfect weapon for you. Look, it's good for people with, looks you up and down, people like you. You'll love it. All right, next. All
Yeah.
right, who's next, please?
I'll step up, I imagine, behind. So it's just like, just grinning. What about us? What do we get? And I've rolled a 15.
15. He looks you up and down and he says, are you talking to that stick?
Yeah, he's my friend. This is Shanks. Say hi, Shanks. You're funny, man. It's funny. Whew. Anyway, yeah, you got like a big cartoonishly shitty weapon for me or what?
So you rolled a 15, correct?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, I've got the perfect weapon for you because you're mad. And then he reaches behind
maybe.
reaches under the desk and gives you a longbow, and then reaches back under the desk and gives you some like 12 cracked and bent arrows. Now this longbow really needs some varnish. Like Sloan, you look at it and you're like, longbow, and then you're like, oh no, that might just be an accident waiting to happen. Oh.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but it will fire.
Maybe. I don't. Yeah, the potential for violence
Someone's
is there.
going to get hurt.
Yes, yes, for sure. Whatever happens, someone will be in pain at the end of it. And finally, Sloan, you step, and the guy's just like, all right, good, yeah, good, longbow, good, next.
Yeah. Sloane's definitely last because she likes to people watch. I rolled a 17.
17. So Sloan, you've noticed that whatever the armorer says, he's not looking at anyone. He's not really looking. He's literally just picking weapons and handing them to people with no regard for technique or skill or body size or anything, which is why Ricky ended up with a cartoonishly large axe. And you got 17, is that correct?
I did.
All right. So you get something a little bit better. Tell me how you negotiate with this guy. Tell me what you do to stop him being as dismissive as he was previously.
I mean, I imagine after watching everybody else go, and he probably is like about to hand me something shitty, and I give him a look and I say, I use a bow. Well.
And he looks at you and he's like, all right. And I can see that you've got your bow. And there's a moment of like, okay, I'm struck here, so maybe I'll actually do my job for once. And he goes, all right, well, something good with a bow is this. And then he reaches under the desk and he hands you a spear. It's not as shitty as everything else. It's, it's not ideal. It's a spear with a bronze head. The bronze is actually polished. It's this beautiful gold color. And it's only a little bit marred by the fact that kind of the top's broken off a bit. But it'll still stick something. Like if you're in the right situation, you can still stick something with it. So yeah, all right. So then you've got your weapons. Well done. The first part of the Festival of Swords. You've been armed. All right. Now you have to go and get armored. You walk to the next table, and behind it is a gentleman with a big smile. He's like, "Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome! Come on! We got to be fast. Lots of people here today. All right, all right. So who's stepping up first? Who's stepping up first? Who wants protection from the dark?"
Bill remembers all of a sudden that he's got money and he gets to go before other people now because he's better than other people. And so he was like, "That's right." And he pops right up to the front, and actually he's he's got one coin. He's like flipping his coin, and just eyeing Shanks, like we're cool. And he like just looks at the guy. And is like, hook it up, let's get strapped.
All right. Well, in which case, I'm going to let you roll it because this is nothing any player has ever tried in my game before. So I'm going to improvise. I would like you to roll 46 twice, and then you get to pick the outcome.
Oh, okay.
So you get to choose which set of armor you get. Everyone, I'd like you to roll 46 for armor.
Do I generally just want a high number? First one's pretty good. All right, that's a 18 or we're gonna take the 18.
Wow,
You're
that's
gonna take nice. And the other one? So you got 18.
Oh, I got an 18 and a 12.
And a 12. Oh, both of those are quite interesting. All right, so you take the guy looks at you and is like, all right, I've got something for you. I've got something which can help. And he reaches down and he takes out a helmet, an iron helmet. Like, this looks like a berserker helmet. It's got horns on both sides. It's made of metal.
Tiny 5'2", dude.
Riveted, and it looks like the kind of thing that a Viking would wear into battle just before they were horribly murdered.
That piece of art.
Because it's got a large gash where the cheek should be. They're like beautiful, and then there's just a bit missing, like right just over your right cheek.
Okay,
that would make you look like a right hero. It would.
Would you like this iron helmet?
Oh, do I get? Is there another thing he's going to pull out? Do I get to?
There is another thing. So
yeah, I kind of look at it and realize that this thing would rattle around on my head, and like sort of cock an eyebrow and look at the money and be like,
he nods. Don't worry. Dives back into the crate, pulls at some things. You hear some letters. Oh, I got it. And then he looks at you and he says, "Well, you're a small lad, so I reckon this will be perfect for you, right? And no arguing. You only get so far for one coin." And he pulls out a butcher's apron that looks really similar to the one that Kazul is wearing, down to the bloodstains.
Interesting. Okay.
And he's like, "Look, the helmet, the apron, you got leather on your body, you got steel in your head. It'll be a good combination. You'll be fine. You'll look like a champion. You'll be great. Everything will be all right."
I get them both? Hell yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, I'll take them both. Yeah, hook it up. So walking off, talking to my stick, looking like a little kid playing dress up Viking with his like dad's barbecue apron. Yes,
that is pretty much, yeah, that's exactly it. And as you walk, you can hear like this clanging, and you're like, wow, maybe they're ringing the bells for me. And it's just bits of your helmet like clanging against each other. Who else would like a piece of shitty armor? Who's next for the shitty armor trade?
I rolled a 14.
All right, 14. Okay, all right, now. So that was Tony, right?
It was Gary.
Gary.
Oh, sorry, Gary.
You're
all
okay.
right. So he reaches down and he sort of fumbles around. He's like, oh, maybe, looks at you. He's like, sizes you up. He's like, you're a big lad. You'll probably need something to look at.
I'm looking down at the Morning Star. I just reach out and grab it left-handed and tuck it on my arm and keep walking. I have no idea what he gave me.
And what he's given you is like what appears to be like a sack of metal, like a sack of metal links. And as you pull it out, you realize, though it's not in the best condition, he's given you like something that looks like fish scale. it looks like metal fish scales. And sure, something, there's a fair few of them missing, and you're pretty sure that one of the shapes is over the heart, and it looks like the plates were kind of bent out of the way, and there's a lot of blood on the inside of it, like on the inside of the lining. But my God, it's shiny, and it looks like, and you look like a fish, and it's the best thing ever. Maybe, I don't know.
So some scale metal armor with a heart gap.
Exactly.
Got it.
So I should tell you mechanically now, Gary, your AC, your armor class is 2, and Alex, your armor class is 2 as well. And we will explain why those are important later on.
Sure.
Sloan, you're up next.
I got a 10.
A 10. Oh no! All right. He looks at you and he kind of looks you up and down, and he's like, "All right, you're a strong sort. Yeah, I know what strong sorts like. I know what strong sorts really need when they're in the dark." And he reaches down and he gives you like a chunk of metal, like just it's a chest plate, kind of shaped, but it's more shaped like the outside of a walnut, and the straps are kind of fraying at the back, and it's just quite heavy, like on your body. It feels quite heavy, and the weight's quite heavy. It's like, yeah, it'll keep you safe. It looks good. Just any mark, any rust, it'll buff right out. Just give it a bit of a clean. Sorry about all the dust. All right. Thanks. Bye. Next.
And
you have an armor class of 2 as well, with your lovely metal chest plate.
Oh gosh.
I slide up to the counter and I say, "Do you have anything that needs a little bit of extra love?" And I rolled a 15.
You rolled a 15.
Yeah.
All right. He looks at it and he's like, "Yeah, a bit of extra love. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody it just really needs somebody to take care of it while it takes care of them."
Yeah, I've got something. And he goes right to the back. And he's like, wait 10 seconds. And he goes to the back, and there's some rustling. And
He's peeing on it right now.
Where is it?
Peeing on the armor.
Where is it? I left it around here. Where did I? Ricky. Sorry, not Ricky. Mine. Where's that thing? Yeah, the thing we were. Yeah, that thing. Yeah. Bring it. Yeah, that one. No, that. God, you good for nothing, you lad. And then he comes back with like a fabric bundle under his arm, and he's like, "All right, bit of extra love for this." And he like rolls it out on the table, and it's a full length padded gabardine jacket, so like a thick canvas arming jacket. Which on first glance looks good, and then you start looking at the details, and you're like, okay, so it's a bit torn in places, and the sleeves are a bit ragged, and that's a really suspicious brown stain, and there's another suspicious brown stain, and that stain is very extensive. Oh yeah, and I should probably mention it smells like someone died in it, because they probably did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and he's like, "All right, yep, you happy with that? You happy with that?
Yeah.
Yep." So he gives you that. You strap it on. You tie the notches, and then you're led out of the tent. And there's a whole bunch of people stood outside looking at these weapons. Like, is this it? Is this what they sent? And it looks like a Renaissance fair that fought in the Battle of the Somme. So everybody is mismatched. Everyone's wearing these bits of armor with these weapons that are rusty and shitty. And everyone, like, from the initial enthusiasm of entering the tent, everyone's kind of walking like,
"Can somebody help sit me up here in the back? It's a little tight on me."
I got it.
Thank you very much, sir.
So, like,
Assuming everyone had like the same general amount of armor given to them, do I see any hulking man with a teeny tiny and probably more suited to me armor I can just like intimidate into giving to me?
yeah, absolutely. There are a couple of people who are wearing like tight-fitting leather jerkins, and they've kind of strapped themselves into it, but it's kind of opening at the front, and there's a kind of walking like this, and one of them saying, I'm not sure how I'm going to fight like this. And he's like, and his mate's like, yeah, don't worry. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Hey,
Maybe.
it looks like all my buttons are on the wrong side, and there's a button built in for the female.
Huh.
Tell me how you approach this rather squished individual.
I kind of just forcibly grab his forearm and kind of turn him towards me, and I hold up my like tragic breastplate, and I'm like, "Trade me."
He looks you up and down and goes, okay, yeah, that sounds really good. Could you possibly undo the buckles?
Yeah, I get him out of it real fast.
Oh, thank God. Oh, I can breathe. Oh.
I unceremoniously just drop it. I drop it on the floor, and I'm walking away already.
It's like you guys watch this as this clang as like a armored breastplate hits the floor, and then Sloane's walking away with like leather over her shoulder, just like doing it up.
Yep.
Oh no, that wasn't very nice at all. She dropped your armor in the mud.
Guy looks at it, he's like, oh, it'll polish right out. And then he puts it on and he's like, look at me, I'm the champion of the realm. And then he's like, oh, but it's right heavy. Like
It looks really good on you. That's much better.
So in terms of armor class, Tony, your armor class is, well, basically everyone apart from Slime Ranger has an armor class of 2. Slime Ranger, I'm afraid, because you took leather rather than something a bit more substantial, you have an armor class of 1.
Sure.
Which will help you in some situations, but honestly, not very many.
Well, I said like if everyone has like generally the same like armor class, I would trade. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh well. In which case you did say that, and that was my mistake for not picking it up. In fact, no. I've just double checked the rules, and leather armor, crudely stitched, which is the number 7, is actually armor class 2, not armor class 1. So apologies for that.
Up.
However, it's within the rules, and don't try and intimidate the GM. Don't.
I wouldn't.
I would never
dare.
dream.
Yeah, we see those PM she sent you. Does she threaten you? Do you feel safe, Kieran?
Don't say anything.
I'm a long way. Oh yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Everything's okay. I have been well treated. They are treating me well.
That's right. That's right, bitch.
Where are they keeping you? Are they keeping you in the blank
Yeah. All right. Anyway, story. Come on, guys. Come on. You can play out your hostage dilemmas in your own time. We have important story stuff to do.
Sorry. Yep.
Serious faces.
Wipe it off.
All right. Now, going through the tent took maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, and already you step outside and the atmosphere has changed. Already you can hear just in the distance, just at the end of your hearing, screaming, and you can hear just at the end of just at the edge of your hearing, the clang of metal upon metal, like a blacksmith's hammer rising and falling on the anvil, and it's very distant, but it's also clearly there. There's several gateways through the ruins, and they've got fences, like simple wooden pallets. And there's another gentleman with a clipboard, and he's like, all right, you this way, you this way, you this way, and then you this way, you this way, you this way. And he's looking at. And then to the left of him is a taller gentleman with another long white beard, sort of mountain man-esque look about him. He's wearing sort of what you would think of as like formal armor. So it's got a little bit of chasing on it. There's a sort of a tarnished bronze coat of arms in the center. He's got his helmet under his arm, and he looks at, and he's just watching the people. And as his assistant, it's like, yeah, you that way, you that way. He's watching for something quite cheerful. And there's something, he sees something in you guys. Maybe it's not competence, but maybe there is a sense of group about you which the other ones lack. So you see groups of friends together, but there's no large groups. There's like pairs, or there's individuals who are looking very scared. There's no coherence about this group of warriors. It looks like everyone out for themselves. but he sees something in you, and then he says, "Oi, you four, over there, yeah, you lot, come here.
Oi,
no,
which
here.
way are they fighting?
It's kind of that way, but I want to talk to you before you do the fighting. Is
Right,
that
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on then.
All right then.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Right,
Good.
Hey, what up?
Good.
Hey, we're here now. What's up? What'd you want?
Yeah. Good that you can take orders. It'll be very important over the. Well, maybe. And he looks you up and down, and he's like, "All right, you lot look like you're gonna work together, right? Because I need four people for something a bit trickier than this."
1, 2.
It's trickier
Three.
than the
Hey, that's
people who are. Yeah.
He sort of points up. And he says, "Yeah, they're just going up for the fighting, but I need someone a bit more more together than you."
Yeah,
lot."
that's us. We're cagey. We're a group. We're ready to go. We're on it.
All right.
Do we get
Wouldn't
money?
call us all together, but we do.
We know each
work
other.
as a team, yes.
He looks at a Bill, and he's like, and he's immediately taken by your sort of outward expression. The fact he hasn't noticed you talk to a stick yet, so you've still got that on your side. And he looks at you and he's like, all right. Well, I've got something a bit difficult, and it's a bit of a family matter. So can I trust you not to say nothing to no one?
I don't know anybody to say anything to.
I mean, we can talk to each other about it, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm asking you all to do it.
Yeah. Well, we don't know anybody else really, so.
Well, that's useful.
There's one really nice bartender.
Given what's about to happen, it's probably better that you don't know anyone around. Not too much invested, not too much lost.
Sure.
So he looks you up and down. He says, "Well, I've got. It's a bit embarrassing, right? Problem is, my nephew Yui, he decided that he wanted to have a go at the Festival of Swords. Now his parents forbade him. They said, no, don't be a stupid bugger because you'll get yourself killed. And he said, I'm going to be an adventurer. And he said, no, you're going to die. And he said, no, I'm going to be an adventurer. And then
So you want us to find your nephew and kill him inside the mines?
Maybe let him finish first. Maybe down, Piggy.
Kind of looks at you like long. No, I don't. No. Well, yes, but no. Just sort of steps away and talks to Sloan a bit more because you're freaking him out a bit. So no.
Steps in, he walks away, scratching his head, confused, clearly.
He says, yeah, so of course, like every kid ever, he ignored what his parents did and he ran off early this morning. And he's gone in alone. And it's really bad. So what I need is 4 lucky souls to go and find him and bring him back to his ma. Because his ma's really worried about him. She is. And you know what it's like. So yeah, I'll pay you though.
Hey, did you hear that, buddy? More money.
So yeah, I'll pay you all some shillings if you can find him and bring him back to you. At this point, just quick warning, because I'm British and I know my history. All my villains generally have very cut-glass British accents.
Great.
Which also means they could be German. Like we would just never know.
Well, the problem with the German accent is that it does not fit the setting. However, if you would like me to do a German accent instead, I can do this also.
I mean, I think it definitely fits.
How are we going to know what Huey looks like?
Was it Huey or was it Yui?
Yui. So Y-U-Y-U-I. The guy looks at you and says, "Well, he'll be on his own. He's got brown eyes and dark hair. He's a young lad, maybe about 14 or 15. He'll answer to the name Yui. But if he's not able to answer, I guess you could look for. He's got 2 marks on his cheek, two little moles on his cheek, which are pretty special to his mum. And she says, "Oh, he's so sweet." So if you can find that, so if you can't find him, maybe bring his head back.
You know, my mother always said that freckles are kisses from giants.
I think Giant's lips are much bigger than Freckles.
You calling me mother a liar, Sloan?
At this point, at this point, somebody wanders in, and you just hear this cry of, "Oh well, ha! They'll not do it. Look at them. They're green enough to be pissing grass. Ha! Nothing good there." And you turn to see a leather-clad gentleman with a sword at his side, quite a tough armor on both of his shoulders, and he just pushes into your circle. He doesn't even he tries to push Kazul, thinks about it a second time, and then just kind of shoulders his way past William, who is a little bit smaller, and then walks up to the gentleman who's asking you to do the work, and says, "Oh, of course, I'll do it. It's not a problem. And me and my boys will bring back double time." How do you respond?
Hey, quit messing with my money, guy. Get out of here. Nobody asked you. They asked us. We're going in. We're getting the kid. And we're getting the money.
No, you're not. I'll do it. You idiots. You'll just get yourself killed like everybody else here. We'll do it ourselves. We'll do it ourselves. For my name is, he says, checking his notes. Bear with me.
Yes. Give me the name of who I'm killing first.
He says, "My name is Pillen of Oxfall, and I, of course, am a fine warrior, and these idiots here are nothing. So, yes, we'll do that for you. Don't worry. And, of course, we'll take the money."
Oxfall's a really nice town this time of year.
The guy looks over to you. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. That's very supportive of you. How do you guys respond to this? Do you leave it? Do you let it go?
I mean, is that just how this works? Like people just say cutsies and they get to do the cool job?
Are you?
Oh, I'm addressing the guy who called us over originally.
Yeah. Whose name, by the way, is Hetman. Hetman Alton is his name. So Hetman Alton looks at you and says, "Well, no, not really. I mean, I'm not sure I like you very much," he says to Pillen, and Pillen's like, "Yeah, no, of course not. I don't need to be liked. I need to be a warrior." And then he very sort of strikes a pose, walks off sort of with a sneer, looks back at you guys and is like, "Don't worry, I won't see you again. You'll be dead." And then he just carries on up the mountain with this sort of arrogant expression. And Hetman Alton looks at Ricky and says, "I don't think I like him very much."
Yeah, I mean, we have guys like that back on South Side, but usually not for very long. Usually we find a reason for them to not be on South Side anymore.
Well, this ain't the first time he's come to the festival, so I reckon he might be here. I'll tell you what though, if he brings the boy back, if he brings Yui back, I'm going to have to pay him. So for your sake, and honestly for mine, because I don't want to give that man any money, could you get there first, please? Could you go and find my boy instead? I like you a lot more than I like him.
Sure.
But if he's if he gets there first, on a bound, I gotta pay him.
If he gets there first,
that, right?
and then back to you, right?
Right. I think we could just hide right over there behind those boulders and smack him as he comes back.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't waste any more time then.
So 6 hours of boulder waiting roleplay then? We'll describe every rock.
Just describe everyone who walks by up to this place.
That's it.
20 questions. Oh,
Sloan Ranger
man.
loves it because it's like 6 out of people watching, like dead, dead,
Oh,
dead, maybe dead, dead,
Mm.
dead, dead. Oh, he's already dead. How's he here?
Wow. Wow. Amazing.
Um, so you guys take the job. You head up the mountain. You head up past the groups of people. They're not being organized. They're being corralled. So what's happening is they're coming into these gated areas with their weapons, their armor, and their fear just leeching off them. And then when they reach a certain number, they're like, "All right, go charge!" And then they just go and go charging up the mountain, up these mountain paths. Ironically enough, they start with like and they get about 2 minutes up and they realize the air is really thin and it's really difficult to scream and run at the same time. So it's like
I was just about to say I've been training strength for 2 years, but not cardio. Maybe I'll just walk up and then start smashing.
Hammond Alton also says to you, he says, you'll know the place, and he gives you the directions to the cave that you have to enter through. And then he lets you round the side. So not into the general mass of the adventurers. He lets you round the side. And you start walking up one of the paths. As you climb, the sound and the frivolity and the joy of the village drops away behind you, and people keep running past you, but as you get higher up the mountain, you walk about 200, a little bit further, maybe about half a mile. You walk, and slowly less and less. And then as that noise is replaced by distant screaming, and the first person you see is walking past you, and their face is cut open, and you can see their cheekbone, and their cheek is falling away, and they're missing an arm. And
My hand goes up to the one place where there is no armor on my helmet. So look at
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Ooh.
And it's exactly that place. And they're missing an arm, and like blood's running down the side of their body, and it's like trailing behind them, and they're just holding the stump, and they're just looking at you, just like, don't go back, don't do it, go back, and then they just kind of walk past you with this sort of fixed expression, aiming to get down towards the village. You walk for another sort of 50 feet or something, and then there's a guy who's just lying against a rock, like his hands pressed against his stomach, and his face is completely white, and he's just and he can't breathe. He can't, like, you look at him and you make eye contact, but there's just animal pain and panic there. And now the screaming is echoing from the caves, and the clang of metal upon metal. And worse than that, there is the of strange animal noises that that Sloan Ranger has never heard in the forest. I mean, forests are scary places, but these noises, they are not like anything you've ever heard before. Has anyone worked with goats? Bizarrely enough, completely out of... Like, has any of you...
Like in real life?
In real life?
No, your characters.
Oh, I have in real life.
My character has probably been around goats repairing like pins, tie downs, other stuff like that over the course of things.
Okay. So you hear, like, I can't really do a good goat noise despite my much practice. No, that sounded like that works. You hear that sort of goat noise, but it's louder and it's more bestial and fiercer. It doesn't sound like the sort of lost of a goat. It sounds like a war cry. It sounds like anger in animal form. And
shit, killer goats, you guys.
These sounds sort of echo around you as you step up to the cave, and then you find the entrance to the cave. You step into the dark, and the dark embraces you like a good, close friend. And we'll take a very short 2-minute break while I finish my coffee and double check my notes. Is that all right?
That sounds great. We'll give everybody actually just here a chance to hop up real quick, stretch their legs also too. But we will be right back in a minute to see what happens inside of the Deep Maw.
Yeah. This dungeon is called, I believe. Let me.
Oh,
La, 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 la.
the
Dungeon of Fallen Floors, I think, or the
Dungeon of
deep
Fallen Floors. All right,
The
we'll be right back.
deep of the
All right, and we are back with Kieran Mather's Dark Peaks. We have just stepped into what, unbeknownst to our characters, is called what again, Kieran? It's the
deep of the fallen floor.
The deep of the fallen floor. Our level 0 commoners in a lot of other systems have now got armor that doesn't fit them, that's stained with other people's blood and viscera, broken weapons, and are ready to embark on a quest to save Yui before some jerkface beats us to it, or to find that jerkface on his way back out with Yui. One of the two.
Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, you were told that you would, you could join the Festival of Swords and you would be armed and you would be armored, and that has happened. Technically speaking. All right, so you step into the dungeon. There's a before the festival. There's obviously been quite a lot of preparation done. There's a basket of torches, and if you'd like to take one of the torches, those are belt items. Now, if you look on your character sheet, you'll see that you have a main weapon, which is the image of the sword, and then you have 3 smaller boxes. Those are your belt items. You can access your belt items as a free action in combat. Anything in your backpack has to be is a full action. It is a full action to reach in your bag and grab something there. So your belt items, they can be used at will. So if you'd like to, if you want to, you can add
like
a
lighting said torch would be like a free, like that's the action.
Yes, lighting the torch would be the action. Holding it on your belt, you can keep it on your and then lighting it and raising it above your head. That's the action.
Yep. Cool. I'll take a torch.
I'll take 2.
Excellent. Well, put one on your belt and put one in your back.
So right now I've got my Morning Star set as my main weapon, then my wooden hammer on my belt. Can I put my other 2 torches on my other 2 belt slots?
Yes, you can. Go ahead and do that now.
Perfect.
Just got long pieces of wood just sticking out.
Got them on like holsters, like big matches.
In terms of your weapons, I'll take you through this now because it's quite important as we enter combat. Different weapons have different classifications. Now, Deepmore doesn't go with each weapon as an individual, is entirely different to everything else. It deliberately doesn't have the granularity of something like D&D. So, to be honest, a sword is a sword is a sword. Different types of sword might do different types of damage based on the class of which they're built, but they all fall under the classification of slashing weapons. He says, checking his rules again. Is that what they're called?
Stabbing, cutting.
Cutting weapons. Thank you. Yeah, they're all defined. They're all defined by purpose as well. There's nothing nice about this system. You have cutting, stabbing, battering, staved, and archery. Bear in mind that staved weapons, I couldn't come up with a better verb than staved. So if anyone, for the 2nd edition, if anyone would like to suggest what you do with a big stick. We've got bashing.
There's bashing.
Yeah, bashing. So staved would specifically be like spears, pole arms, other things like that.
Ranged bashing.
They're slightly longer and
like two-handed type.
And they may bash and they may cut and they may do other different things depending on what type they are, but they are all staved as their core, as opposed to cutting things and other ones are like shorter and do that type of damage.
And a lot of it is based on the idea that you
Are
have
we on piercing? Piercing's still available.
It's true. It's like
in
stabbing.
this case, we'd be talking about stabbing.
Cutting.
Stab them in the eye. So, what the aim of this system in particular was to create something where technique is more important than the weapon that you're using. So it's not really based on the weapon; it's actually based on the person using it. So, a bashing weapon has a similar technique, like hitting someone with a great mace is very similar to hitting someone with a sledgehammer, which is very similar to hitting someone with a big length of wood. Again, with the cutting weapons, though the experts will tell you that there's a completely different technique involving sabers and falchions and messes and longswords, and they're right. They're right. But
yeah,
it's
but
like
not if you're some
microcosm.
dipshit who just wandered in out of nowhere. You
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Stab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we do here is we define them in terms of their purpose rather than what they are.
Cool.
If you look at, I don't know if you guys have got the rules in front of you. If you look at page 13 as well, you'll see that different weapons have different abilities against other weapons. So when we're in combat, we kind of play a sort of a very violent and bloody version of tic-tac-toe. So what you're looking for is you're looking to maximize your advantage against a particular weapon type. So if you're, just to take, for example, cutting weapons, if you're fighting someone with a cutting weapon, if you're fighting someone who has a battering or a stabbing weapon, you have advantage on your attack. Your weapon works better against their weapon than their weapon works better against you. This goes all the way down. If you have a stabbing weapon, you don't have advantage because you've basically got a big knife. But big knives are really good for like jamming into people's necks or into people's armpits or like cutting their wrists. So you reduce the armor class when you're using those.
Okay.
Battering weapons are very good against staved weapons because hitting a stick with a sledgehammer is kind of designed and it'll shatter it. So you have advantage against those. Staved weapons have advantages against cutting and stabbing. Sure. And then archery. Archery is a catch-all category for thrown weapons, for crossbows, for bows. They have specific rules for ranged combat.
Oh, so I have aimed because I took the Tinker class. Is that different?
Yes.
Should that just be archery?
That should be archery, yes.
Okay.
So each of you has a +1, an already existing skill in a particular weapon class. So if you want to go ahead and tell me what those are based on your class. So Tony, you've already said you have archery. Sloan Ranger, what's your weapon proficiency?
Mine was also archery.
Okay, excellent. Kazul?
Battering,
excellent. That seems very appropriate. And William?
You know I hit things with sticks.
Is yours staved or battering? Staved. All right, very nice. So when we're in combat, consider your target, consider your opponent. Advantage in this system is very powerful. It's not roll 2 dice, pick the highest. It's double your skill. So if you're attacking someone with advantage, you can double your 1 to a 2, or your 2 to a 4, or your 4 to an 8. So it's incredibly important if you want to start nailing hits, especially when the challenge rating starts quite high.
Nice. Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Well, I've got this bow. We've all got this other weapon. So, like, as far as I just since we're gonna use D&D as a example, like sometimes you can't switch, or can I switch from weapon to weapon? Is I guess what I'm asking. How hard is that to do within combat?
Drop one weapon, pick up another.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
I think
but that's not to say you'll be any good with it.
On your belt's a free action, right? And in your bag,
and if it's hanging on your belt, you can. So a lot of the in our later campaign, just to quickly talk about this, in our later campaign, we generally had people who were specialized in 2 types of weapons, and they'd have one on their belt, so they'd have a sword on their belt, and they'd carry a spear, or vice versa. And what they'd do is, based on the target that they were attacking, they would draw their sword and stash their spear, or they would swap between a mace and a sword. And what you got is a lot of changing up because you're really looking to maximize the advantage.
Cool.
In terms of the weapons that you were given, I realized during the breaks that I didn't actually tell you what they were. So the battle axe is a battering weapon. Yeah. So the battle axe that was given is a battering weapon. The longbow is obviously archery. The Morning Star is also a battering weapon as well. And what was the other weapon that was given?
Spear. You gave me a spear.
A spear. Yeah, excellent. So a spear is a staved weapon. So you can use that in the same fashion. Also, if you guys would like to discuss and swap weapons around at any point based on your skills, you can go ahead and do that as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty good. I've got I've got a bow
That might kill you.
that that might kill me. Yeah, but I mean, the two of you that are good with archery already have bows.
I have a
right?
I have a
True.
crude crossbow, and she's got a.
I have a hunting bow. Is there a difference between a hunting bow and a longbow? No.
No, unless there's a difference in the quality of it, and there isn't. They're all just crude weapons.
Okay.
They are effectively the same thing. They're not.
Was
they're
my
not,
spear
like,
also crude because it had that bronze tip?
everything? All of the equipment you have is classification crude. I'm afraid.
It's like
Alright.
one trip to the Spearier's shop to get upgraded.
All right.
Common.
All right.
So mechanically, does that make them all a +1? Since they're crude?
In terms of for crude weapons, mechanically it means that the damage is a flat 1. So you will
Got it.
only ever do 1 piece of damage with it. As you get more equipment, you get damage rolls. So you'll do more grit point damage to the enemies as you upgrade the equipment. Unfortunately, you guys, just a spoiler warning for you, there's only like maybe 2 pieces of common equipment in this entire dungeon. So just get used to doing like flat 1 damage.
Great.
Keeping the math simple.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Like keeps the math starts super simple, and then it gets more complex the deeper into the campaign. But like I said, this is a start to the campaign.
Cool.
All right, shall we continue? Shall we
Yeah, let's
step
do it.
into the dark?
Please.
All right, excellent. So, the first thing that you experience is deep darkness. Darkness like you've never experienced it before. A cloying form of darkness that kind of grips you and embraces you and almost draws you in. This isn't the darkness of a night, because even a cloudy night has birds, it has maybe reflections from torches, it has firelight. This is not that dark. This is the dark of absolute black, and in the distance you can hear the echoes of and then like a little almost, and it's call and responsive. There's clearly something in there, and that noise, you've never heard that from a human. And speaking as a GM, it's actually quite uncomfortable a noise to make, so I don't see why any human ever would make that noise.
That noise, it sounds unnatural. Someone else light a torch.
I'll light a torch.
All right,
I've
so
got
with
my Morning Star up in front, ready to go.
Yep. So marching order. There you go. We're going to steal the D&D term. Marching order for this one. Who's first? Who's second? Who's fourth?
I'll lead the way with Morning Star in.
I'll probably follow almost directly behind him and about 5 feet back. So I'll have my bow out as well.
Yeah, I'll be a couple
Awesome,
feet off of Sloan.
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense. And then me in the back would look out with my shifty eyes. Also, I guess I'm pretty fast.
Shanks can help keep an eye on the back.
Yeah, me and Shanks. Shanks got our 6. Got our 6,
Yeah.
bud. Yeah, there you go.
He's got
Give
2
me-
faces. You can check both ways.
Yeah.
You're holding him over your shoulder, and he's literally looking backwards. Right?
Yep. Looking backwards.
So you step into this darkness. The stonework, it's actually a stone cut. You only have to go a few yards into the tunnel before you realize that you've moved from sort of a broken, uneven rock surface into cut stone. Brown, sort of gray, under the light, it's sort of gray white cut stone as you move from a very natural environment to this dungeon space. You carry on along the corridor, and the first thing you see is a T-junction directly ahead of you. It goes right or it goes left. The corridor continues on either side. However, lying at the T-junction is a body. Well, it was a person, but now it's a body. There's a dead, just dead. There's blood splattered around him, and there's a javelin with a crude, quickly hammered iron head, which has gone into his shoulder and then out of his back. And then you see a trail of blood from where he kind of dragged himself, and then to this point where he leaned against the wall and then died. What do you do?
I, in the front, ready my weapon, and I get down and ready. I look at the trail of blood and face the direction it leads. I look back,
All right.
making sure everyone knows
Make
what's
a-
about to happen.
Make an acuity check for me, please.
Acuity, your best skill.
Maybe.
And
You put the observant one first, right?
I rolled a 1.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because you weren't rolling risk dice, that's okay. There aren't any critical fails until you start rolling risk dice. Now, this is a good time to introduce the mechanic of risk dice. The game allows you to effectively roll twice. You make your original roll. Ooh, we forgot to do something. You make your original roll, and then if you want to push the value of it, if you want to say, all right, I need to extend the value of this check, you can roll it again and add the value. However, that's what we refer to as a risk dice. You can only critically succeed using a risk dice, but you can only critically fail using a risk dice as well. The failure state on a D4 risk dice is a 1. You roll a 1, it's critical failure. If you exceed the challenge value of the encounter by 2, so if you double the value, so for example, if the challenge rating of the encounter was 4 and you roll 8 using a risk dice, that's a critical success. That doubles your damage, and quite importantly, it returns a fate dice to the pool. Now, I have rolled a bunch of fate dice for everyone. So everyone at the beginning of the game gets 3 fate dice. So I'm going to give you what the scores were.
I'd like the good ones, please.
Yeah, everyone likes the good ones, but no. Sorry.
Just thought I'd ask.
Dice rolled what the dice rolled, I'm afraid. So
Got to take a shot. Yeah, you know.
You never get what you don't ask for. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
you never know what happens.
let me just check. That's correct.
Are wrist dice permanent? Like you can always do a wrist dice.
You can always take a risk dice.
Okay.
You can always take a risk dice, but remember, the critical fail only comes on a risk
Right.
dice, and it's a 1.
25% chance of a critical failure. That's insane.
Which is really so. I did some of the math earlier. 25% is the best odds you get as you go further in this game. Like your chances of critical failure go up the deeper you go into the mountain, and the higher your level is, the higher your chance of critical success. So 25% is the lowest. It's like near 50. It's like 45% when you're at the deepest level. So this is our best chance right now with 25%.
Ooh.
Well, there's that tension that you were talking about.
It's a really
You
good,
feel it.
it's a really good scaling mechanic actually. Like it's a really I've never seen the critical failure scale go up like that in a game.
Cool.
And I like it.
Because as you go further down, we're starting with a D4, right?
Yeah.
It's a good little dice. I love this little dice. If you ever need to escape your pursuers while you're being chased, just drop a whole bunch of D4s behind you and listen to them scream. But apart from being a good caltrop, what they are is there are base dice. But as we continue, after a couple of adventures with a D4, we're going to start rolling a D6 as our principal dice. Then we're going to move to a D8, then a D10, then a D12. So what happens is, as you go deeper into the mountain, your skills increase, but the range of outcomes increases as well. So when you get to a D12 dungeon and you're taking on the Dweller, you can roll a D12 risk dice. The chance is 45% that you fail, but based on the value of the previous roll, because it's added together, you can critically succeed an awful lot easier. Also, as you go in through the game, you can choose the risk dice you want to roll. So if you're using the concept we call level dice, if you're using a level dice of a D6, you can choose to roll a D4 risk dice if you only want to push it a bit.
Oh,
You
nice.
can roll a d6, a d8, and so on. And that's how the game scales. So the game scales in terms of skills, but it also scales in terms of the dice that you use and therefore the range of outcomes. So it becomes more epic, it becomes larger, and it also becomes more and more dangerous because you don't control the variables.
That's awesome.
Which again is exactly what we wanted to do.
All right, so that's risk dice. You were looking at the fate dice score though.
Yeah. So I've just put the fate dice up there for you now. The fate dice with that one. Would you like me to send you my beard?
I would.
You can glue it on,
sorry,
If y'all
I felt
missed it,
left out.
Carlin was
Everyone
just
has a
noting
beard.
that she feels a little left out without a beard in this crew. We
Yeah,
should really
it's
start
just
warning our
guys, I'm
non-bearded crew members yeah, just buy one. Like just buy.
Yeah,
a
I mean,
beard.
I could have brought one
Order
if
it
I
on
had
Amazon,
known.
you know?
Honestly, it's fine. Yeah.
I could do the
Great.
whole
Now I'm
thing
not the
as-
only woman here either. Amazing. You fixed everything.
I can do the whole thing as a Starbucks lady if you want me to.
Love it.
So-
Love it. Love it.
All right, so these. Tell us a little bit more about the fate dice. You just dropped them in the chat for us to see. I'll pull them up here so everybody else can see those numbers also too.
So the fate dice are effectively your luck. So fate dice have two rolls. The first one is as a roll replacement. You can roll the dice, and if you don't like the result, you can replace it with a fate dice. Now remember, this is a collective, not an individual pool. So when you take it from the pool, you're going to be taking it from the other people around you. So that's the first roll of fate dice. The second one, and I think arguably the most important one, is when you run out of grit points. So when your health is effectively zero, because there's no healing magic in this game. When your health is effectively zero, when you take a hit, which would reduce your stats normally, you lose a fate dice instead. So the more fate dice you have, effectively the more hits your group can take. But when you take a hit like that, you lose the fate dice of the highest value. So if you're only running ones, you're going to lose one. But if you've got 4, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, the fate dice you lose is a 4. The thing to note about this is there is a way of regaining fate dice. The first one is impressing the GM. You know, just impress me. Come on, you know, do cool stuff. I like cool stuff. But if you like your mechanics to be completely less arbitrary than we made the GM happy, the other thing that you can do is you can roll critical hits. If you roll a critical hit, you recover a fate dice.
So using a risk dice, you have the chance to regain a fate die. Okay.
Exactly. So what you would do in combat, and we'll play this out.
Advantages are going to be a little more important too, right? Because that's how we're going to get those. Cool.
Yes. So you can. So generally, using advantage adds to your base roll. Roll your d4, get a high roll, throw a risk dice in there. Then you're on for a critical hit.
And you get it right back.
And you get your fate dice right back. The one thing which is important about risk dice and fate dice is you can't replace a risk dice result with a fate dice result. Okay. Right? You either take the risk or fate smiles upon you. You can't take the risk while fate is smiling on you because it's not really a risk.
Right.
Sure.
Makes sense.
You can push these rolls for every skill check. Every skill check you want to make, you can push the rolls. But remember, critical hit means in combat, you take double damage from every hit that you might take. So you won't. That includes double fate damage as well. Out of combat, you entrust yourself to the kind whims of the GM and their imagination. Please do that. Please, it's so much fun. I enjoy it so much.
The best rule in the world. Listen to your game master.
Yeah.
In a previous game, just one more minute. In a previous game, we had an incident where a character that I was playing messed up on their wrist dice, took a hit, lost their arm, had their arm completely severed, but then, and with that, they lost their weapon at the same time. So he picked up his arm and proceeded to beat the guy to death with it because it was because we agreed that it was a battering weapon. So if you feel like doing that, that will definitely get you fake dice.
Is that the guy we
movie.
passed in the forest? That was him?
With
Wow.
147 where he cuts his own arm off to escape. I'm getting some James Franco vibes.
Yeah, literally all the dead bodies we pass are just people from future sessions. Like it's every past session rather.
So anyway, apologies. Thank you for listening. Returning to the situation. Let's go back in situ. Dead body, scary noises, stone corridor, ways to the left, ways to the right. The body has dragged itself. The blood track from the body has dragged itself from the left, and then has proceeded to die there. You do recognize this individual. It is one of Pillen's goons. So one of the gang that he had with him. This is one of them.
Excellent.
Do we hear anything specific coming from either side of this fork?
Making a acuity check.
And that is just the 1d4 adding the 2 that I have.
Yep. Pushing the result if you want to.
I rolled a 1, but I add 2, so it's a 3.
3? Do you want to push that with the risk dice?
Yeah, dude.
No.
Excellent. Good choice. You see now you see the stress of the system.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you
sure.
risk hearing more? Like, I'm gonna be making.
Gonna charge it
How
up.
zone comes
Clear
up
it.
and in my ear
Both
and lose my ear
sides.
forever. Yeah, I get it.
So what do you hear? You hear that chittering sort of noise coming sort of off from your left, but you can't tell the distance. Could be a long way away. Echoes have a weird way of operating. From the right, from my perspective, from the right, wind, a strange whistling wind, which kind of sort of seems to have a strange echo following it around, but as it swirls, it's quite important. It's a swirling kind of wind.
Swirling
And
edge of wind.
Which way was the blood trail going or coming from?
It's going left.
The
Towards
left? Okay.
the
The
towards
chitters.
the noises of the chittering.
Mhm.
So what do you do?
I mean, I'm laughing at the dead body because that guy was a jerk.
I'm looting the dead body. I'm going through this guy's pockets and whatnot.
Excellent. Good.
I
good
love that.
start
As he's doing that, can I sort of go like, oh yeah, try to pull the spear like out?
You'll be pleased to know there has never been a session where someone hasn't pulled the spear out of the dead
Yeah,
body.
right? Duh.
Following a long tradition of that. So I'm not going to require any checks for that because there's no pressure here. Bill, you can add a javelin crude to your backpack. That is a archery weapon.
Nice.
Ricky.
May I carry that on my belt as opposed to my bow? So that it's something I can.
We'll say it's like stashed down your back for quick access. But yeah, you can
It's your
absolutely
back
do that.
belt loop. And so,
My back belt. Yeah.
Yeah.
My shoulder belt.
Now, there's one little wrinkle about inventory systems or your backpack. So your backpack in Deepmoor doesn't really represents kind of a fixed space, but it more represents your ability to pack stuff into a bag, which is like anyone who's packed a car knows how tricky it is to get, be efficient. So you can carry the number of items equal to your acuity score. So if your acuity is 1, you can carry 1 item, no problem at all.
Well, my backpack's full, kids. Full of bows.
Once you do that, what you do is you have a D12 backpack. You roll the D12, you add your acuity, and then you see if that exceeds the number of items already in the backpack. So as it gets more full, it's more difficult to pack more stuff in. So what you would do is, let's say you had 3 items, and you wanted to put a 4th in there. Your acuity is 1. You roll the D12. If you get more than 4 on the, with the dice combined with your acuity, you can find a way of putting it in there. if you can't do that, you can't take it with you, or you have to give it to somebody else.
That's such a fun feel.
That's so funny.
I like
Does
that.
that not
Really
include
keeps it-
your belt items?
That doesn't include your belt items.
Okay, great.
So players generally have been known to keep all of their wealth dice on their belt because it's the safest place to keep it, and you have no danger of not being able to carry them.
All right.
So Bill, Ricky, you discover that the guy has a falchion, a long bladed weapon with a single edge and a heavy, quite a cleaver's weight to it. That is, you can put that wherever you want. That's yours now. It is cutting crude.
Okay.
You also discover that they have a 1d4 wealth dice. It's a handful of coins. You don't know how much it's worth because you're a peasant and you don't deal with money. What you have is a handful of coins. When you go to the money changer at the end of the adventure, you will find out how much your coins are worth. But you have no idea right now. At the end of the adventure, you acquire wealth dice and you roll them. So you don't acquire 50 gold, you're going to acquire wealth dice. At the end, it's only at the end that you find out actually how much the wealth is worth. So this could be coins, this could be jewels, it could be bits of paintings, it could be statues. Again, it's worth what someone's willing to pay. So what we do is we collect wealth dice, and then at the end of the adventure, we find out how much each of those wealth dice is worth by rolling them.
Cool.
I'm
All
gonna,
right,
I'm
body
gonna put it
thoroughly.
in my backpack right now because I've got space.
Corpse thoroughly despoiled, sort of like pull it out with a wet squelch, you kind of clean the tip of the javelin a bit, get some guts on your hands, flick it away.
I just whip it off. Just whip it off and then wipe it on my boot.
Can everyone else take a fleetness check to avoid the spraying blood and guts that Bill is throwing around the corridor, please?
Hey, there we go. I rolled a 3. My fleetness is 1, right? So I doubled that, so it's a 5 altogether.
You don't get advantage on that.
Okay, only in things that I'm already trained in.
So so you got a 4?
Yes, 4.
Excellent. All right, so you managed to duck that one, and blood just goes above your head. Tony, what did you get?
I got a 4.
Oh, nice. All right. Yeah. Do you want to get covered in the blood, or do you want to avoid it?
I don't know that I want to get covered in the blood. I like to think I'm still just bent over at this point in time and unaware that the blood is being splashed around.
Just goes right over your head.
Yeah, it just like you just see this wet against the wall, and you look up and you're like, huh. And Carlina, what did you get?
I also got a 4.
You got a 4 as well. Awesome. No blood splatters for anyone. No unnecessary or unexpected blood splatters. So,
whoa! Looks like you got a live one there, laddie. It's spread all over the roof. That's a good start to the adventure, isn't it?
No.
I sort of in game, yeah.
So do we want to go the way this guy came from?
I didn't hear anything, so I don't know. I don't know if we have any acuity or not. We didn't see anything looking around, right? Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, what was the question?
We didn't see anything when Gary was looking around. Yeah.
No, there's nothing obvious at either end of the corridor yet.
Left or right? I've got no idea. You don't have any
left
idea?
Seems
We don't have any idea. We don't know where to go.
Left seems to be a fight. Right is unknown.
I'm always down for a fight.
Let's get into it.
Why don't we check what's left first, just to make sure nothing comes sneaking up behind us?
Ooh, good point. Good point. He's smart. We stick with him.
So just to be clear, left is towards the animal noises, right is towards the wind.
Then right is what I meant.
We're gonna go check out the white noise machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Take a nap.
I will have you know I paid good money for that white noise machine. Be nice to it, all right?
So
Got a
we'll,
Brookstone on sale.
we'll motion that way to Kazul.
Cool. Kazul, you gonna lead us off?
All right then. I suppose we can go that way.
So
I ready my weapon and start heading down the right path.
awesome. All right, so you step forwards in the same marching order.
Yep.
Yeah.
Step forward in the same marching order, and you walk forwards for maybe 50 yards, and your footsteps kind of echo on the stone flags beneath you, sort of, and it sort of echoes, and it's that weird sort of echo all the way back. And you step forwards, and suddenly the corridor just ends and opens into a space in front of you. And the wind has moved from like a shh to an absolute sorry, to an absolute sort of roaring noise, and you can feel it kind of coming up from somewhere. And you look out and you see the floor of this dungeon room, which is maybe sort of 20 feet across, is gone, just completely gone. And there's just a sheer drop down, and the wind is whooshing over you and sort of tossing your hair and catching your clothes. So big room, empty space.
I don't
Sorry.
see anything I can fight up ahead. Does someone else want to take the lead here?
Have we like reached just like the end of like the walkway? We're like on a ledge right now.
So it's a wide room, and the floor has just dropped away.
Okay.
So in front of you is just like flagstone, blackness.
Okay.
Hey guys, does anyone remember what the name of this dungeon was?
I'd have to check my meta sheet real quick.
Can I like test? Can I like put my hand out and test like how strong the wind is?
Of course.
Like if it's just
there's no need to test for it. But again, tests only happen when there's time pressure or a chance of failure.
Okay. Yeah.
You step forwards, like the wind is whooshing over you, and it's almost a sort of a semi-physical force. It's like being outside when you were in the forests, when you're used to the wind being trapped between two trees and whipping through the trees towards you. It has that sense of a wind tunnel about it.
Do we see anything like if we look up?
That would be an acuity check.
I got a 5.
Oh, awesome. Well done. So across the way, you see maybe 30 or 40 feet across is a central sort of island section. It's sort of T-shaped, made up of old stone flags. And there are 3 figures kind of on there. They're tall, gangly, kind of long limbs, very sort of pushed. Their bodies are quite pushed forwards. Their muscles are quite thin and lean. And they have that sort of large goat head that you would see on a goat, but it's a human sized, and they're talking to each other in kind of low.
They're across like a chasm, right?
Yeah, they're the chasm drops away in front of you. You can't see the other side, but you can see that this central area, this island, is held up by a large stone pillar, which sort of drops down into the darkness below where you can see.
Can I shoot at them?
You can absolutely shoot at them if you want to.
I mean, those are bad guys, right? Right, guys. This is bad guys.
I mean,
I did put my bow
here
away.
to kill the creatures that come out of this thing. Yes.
Yeah, right. That's the whole idea. I think Bill's just like, hey, this is the whole point. This is what we do, and like he just like drops his thing, grabs out of his pack, and just launches an arrow.
All right then.
Can I try to stop him before he wastes an arrow?
Well, no, you're in arrow range. You can absolutely like. It's not a wasted shot. He may very well hit something.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if the wind was gonna like.
Well, I'm with
ruin
you.
his
I like.
You can shoot an arrow to hit the tail end of his arrow, causing it to come back down onto Nicole.
Rob-
Can I pull a Robin Hood
This
and
mess.
overcorrect his arrow?
I will let you take a fleetness check to pull the arrow out of the way just to stop him before he does that. So take a fleetness check.
Can I?
And I would
contest it?
Yeah, it's a contested fleetness check. So please roll that.
All right. I got a
You
3.
said you were going to drop your stick,
Three?
because if so, I'll catch it for
3
you.
fleetness.
I know how it
Oh no, not that stick. I'm not dropping that
Okay.
stick. Mine's a 5.
Okay. Carlina, would you like to push yours with the risk dice?
Nope. I don't think it's worth it.
Okay. All right.
Shoot your hand off, man.
Wouldn't be it wouldn't be her hand.
I
that got
like.
cut off.
I love how scary it is. For this game, it's when the DM smiles, you don't know what's happened. Every
Yeah.
time you have asked us if we want to push it, I watch this demonic grin come over your face. Like, do it, do it, risk it.
I dare you. Do it.
Those who dare win
Sure.
or die. You know, there's survivorship bias in that
Right.
phrase, but still those who dare win. So the arrow goes sailing off. You snap out your hand, but it's gone through your fingers before you can grab it. It goes sailing off. Please make an archery attack roll.
Hell yeah.
The challenge rating for this is, he says, double checking his notes very quickly. The challenge rating for this is 5. That
Word.
means you have to meet or exceed a 5.
So how walk me through this again one more time. I roll my D4. I rolled a 2. I don't have any bonuses to archery.
So that's a straight up 2.
It's just a 2. Okay.
So
Yep.
you can roll a risk die, right? Which if you roll a 3,
I mean,
and then
I just because we're doing this, I
right,
think
and
what
then
I'm
can you
gonna
add
do-
what do we do with fate? Die?
I'm
Do
gonna
we-
take one of the fate die. I'm gonna say that fate smiles down on this idiotic shot, and I'm gonna snatch up one of those 3s.
Okay. So
fine.
you take now that replaces your roll. That
Oh,
replaces
it
your
replaces
skill
the
roll.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
Never
add
mind.
to it.
That's
So-
not what I did.
So you could take a 4, and then what you can't do fate, and can you do fate and risk? But it just supersedes
Oh, you can?
the fated quality. So you can take the fate, give yourself a 4 if you want instead, and then push the risk, which basically means if you don't roll a 1, you will hit the target number. And if you do roll a 1, it'll be a critical failure and something bad will happen.
Okay, let's do it. I like.
Go for it. Yes.
Of course, Alex is gonna be the
I'm gonna
first
do
one.
4. Oh, we're showcasing the game. Let's see what happens, man. So yeah, we do that, and then I fucking roll the 1.
Yes! I mean, sorry. That's tragic. I'm so sad. I'm
First crit for botch right out of the gate.
First risk, first fail.
I have to
love it.
confess, Alex, I'm so sorry. You can see the sadness on
Oh
my
yes, I see the tears welling up
I
in your
did.
eyes.
I did try to grab this arrow. I want everyone to know this.
There was no way. This
Well, because combat hasn't officially, we haven't done a declaration phase yet, so combat hasn't officially started. So you're not going to take double damage in this round, but we're going to say with a horrible echoing twang, because you don't know how bows work, man. Like
No,
it's
not
like
really.
boing.
basically playing a guitar. Yeah.
What happens is your arrow kind of like, and then just like drops into the darkness. But that's not the problem. The problem is the bowstring goes twang and snaps and whips at your fingers, and well done. You've now got a stick which is staved. Well done. You now have a staved weapon, but you don't have a bow anymore. We're still the 3 figures on the island all hear that really loud twanging noise, and just with like wah, 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 sort of demonic noises, you see them turn and look at you. 2 of them have long javelins in their hand, and another one raises a small shield and like a long curved sword, and we're in combat. So
All right.
the way
God.
combat works is like this. I'm going to give you the armor class and the challenge rating of the encounter. So here we start with a challenge rating of 5 and an armor class of 2. All right. This will change over the course of the battle based on what you guys choose to do. An armor class of 2 means any roll of 1 or 2 is immediately ignored because you can't get through the armor. So if you roll a 1 or a 2 on your skill dice, it's just ignored. Like it doesn't get through. You can modify that with a wrist dice. Wrist dice aren't affected by armor class, but if you roll a 1 or a 2, effectively your roll is ignored. The challenge rating is the challenge rating of the encounter, which is how you what you need to get to score a hit. To score a hit, you need to meet or exceed the challenge rating of the encounter. So it starts at 5. In terms of movement is done based on areas. Now, I should have done this when you entered the room, but I was getting super excited. There are 3 areas in this room. The areas are roughly 10 to 15 feet across. You can move from one area to another based on your fleetness score. So your fleetness score dictates how fast you move. If you have a fleetness score of 1, for example, you can move from one area to another in your turn. If you have a fleetness score of 2, you can move from one area to another It doesn't require a test. It doesn't require a check, but that's how the movement works. If you're in an area, you can fight and be fought by people with melee weapons. If they're not in the same area, you can attack them with ranged weapons. So it's quite a simple, a very sort of simple, very straightforward movement system. We tried it with granularity, and it was just kind of dull.
But also, that would be how normally it works. There's no floor to move on between us and them, correct?
Well, yes, exactly. So the areas in this room are the area where you are, the area around the edge of the pit. So there's like a 15-foot area around the entrance. There's the edge of the pit, and then the third area of combat is the island as well. So if you but to get to the island, you are going to have to make some epic fleetness checks to do some jumping because there is no bridge, and it's a good 10 feet. There's kind of a little bridge out, which has fallen away, and then there's a little bridge coming back, but there's a massive gap between them. So if you feel like you want to do that, go ahead and do that. Go for it. Now,
Hell yeah.
Combat works like this. We have a declaration phase. Everyone declares their actions at the same time. All right. Normally, if we were playing face to face and we'd had some practice, we'd do this timed. So you'd have about, based on your fleetness score, 14 seconds, 20 seconds maybe for everyone to declare their actions. We're not doing it here because you guys are new, and you have to have a bit of practice for that. It's also perfectly acceptable for anyone, for any reason, to not have a timed declaration round. It is a pressure cooker. If you're not comfortable with it, don't use it. It just adds an element to the game. Once the declaration round has finished, we move into the engagement phase. The engagement phase is just you guys making your rolls. You declare your target, you declare your movement, you fight. Engagement phase, roll your dice. After that, you have the aftermath. So you guys are just going to tell me if you hit or missed. And you already know what the result is. You get to choose whether are you going to modify it with wrist dice. Again, that's your choice. Are you going to use fate dice? Again, your choice. You make all of those choices in the engagement phase. The aftermath is what happens afterwards, because everything happens at the same time. All of your actions take place in the same 6 seconds, and all of the enemy's actions also take place in the same 6 seconds. So if you hurl a javelin at someone and they hurl a javelin back at you, those javelins can pass in the air, and you can I've had people take out their opponent and get taken out at the same time.
Very good. Very good.
So the aftermath phase is kind of like putting it back together in your mind, what just happened in this absolutely insane 6 seconds, and then we move back to the engagement phase of the next turn, and it continues like that. So
I love it.
This is how it goes. Prepare yourself. We will move into the declaration phase. So fighters, what are you going to do? And at this point, you can ask any questions you need to ask to clarify your actions.
Mhm.
I'm gonna throw the torch towards the island and you yell, "Let's leave."
Okay. Good declaration. All right.
Across, and I plant my feet and have my hands up, and I'm waiting for the first winged beast to come in here so I can grab it and hold on with a sturdy grip.
Okay.
I throw the javelin.
So what you could do with that one, Gary, is you could step to the edge. You could use your fleetness to move from the area where you are to the area around the edge. And if anyone tries to come across, you could try and you'll be able to engage them next turn.
Perfect. And I have one fleetness, and I'm only moving one area.
Excellent. Carlina?
I'm going to hug a wall, I guess, and shoot somebody on the platform.
Awesome. And finally, Alex, what are you up to?
I got throw my javelin.
You're going to throw your javelin.
I just I think. I mean, yeah, I throw the javelin. I mean, that's my declaration. I'm into leaving after that, though.
What's your target? So, Carlina, you have 2 targets.
I'm throwing
There are
it
3
at the guy with the guy with the shield. No, that's the dumbest thing ever. At one of the guys with a bow.
Now, I agree. I'll just say this: the armor class of the encounter is collective.
Okay.
If you take out the highest armored guy, the whole encounter armor class
lovely. Well, then I'll throw it at him then. Sure.
Go for it.
Remember what happened the last time you listened to the Killer GM?
And what's your target for this one, Colin?
I will not shoot at the shield dude. I will shoot at one of the javelin biddies.
Awesome. All right then. So, as I've said before, the challenge rating is 5. The armor class of the encounter is 2. Please go ahead and make your rolls. Engage. See how it goes.
Christ.
And do we need to decide theoretically in advance if we're going to take a risk dice when we do it?
No, you decide at the time when you see the outcome of your dice. And while you're doing that, I will be rolling for the monsters. On the bright side, monsters don't get to take risk dice because, they're not that stupid. Sorry, I meant they don't have that mechanic. Oh, no. Ooh. Good. All right, then. So, did you hit or did you miss?
I missed.
Missed.
Assuming throwing a torch is similar to throwing another thing, then I hit.
Yep. Okay. And Gary. Oh, Gary wasn't making a risk roll. Carlina, Alex, do you want to push your results with risk dice?
Nope.
All right.
Do it. Just don't roll a 1.
I rolled a 1, so it's not close enough for me to risk.
You could always take a fate dice, replace it, and then go for a risk if it's important.
That's the thing I just did. No, that's cool.
Whatever. You know what? I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I'll push a risk dice. Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't even care. It's a 3. So I added 2 plus a 3, and then my archery is a 6.
Mm-hmm. So that means you
Zing!
I hit the shit out of him.
Nice. Made a hit. Good job. Well done.
We did it.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
So the aftermath. So now we move to the aftermath phase and you find out what happens. All right. Narrating. The one thing I'd say about this system, just as a note, is it is a bit GM heavy because the GM basically has to listen to you guys, listen to the monsters, and kind of put it all together in their head afterwards. So here's how it goes. Gary, Kazul steps forwards, readies his warhammer. You see one of the creatures run forwards, take this enormous leap on its goat legs with its shield in its air and its sword, and it lands down next to you. It swings at you, but that scale mail that you were wearing, it just like jing, and it doesn't get through your armor, and the blade just kind of glances off as he comes in at you. William, you throw the spear and you watch it as it arcs through the air as a spear comes in the other way. It comes in on you, you come in on it, you're too busy watching, and suddenly enormous pain through your chest as you
Ow.
as you lose a grit point. And
Well, I'm out of
sorry.
grip points.
Well, in which case, we lose a fate dice immediately.
Ah, should use
And
Sorry.
it comes in and just pierces you, and then you're like, and you pull it out, and blood comes. But you also hear from the other side, you hear goatish braying, like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh," and you see one of the creatures running around with a spear also through its chest, and there's this whole terrible mirror as you guys look at each other. Carlina, you watch as the. Oh, wait, no, sorry, Garrett.
No,
sorry, Alex, you
javelin
missed, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm getting Carlina and Alex mixed up.
I mean,
So-
how could you
We're
not?
the same. It's the same. It's fine.
It's all in the hair. Like I'm just. You know.
Like if you turn Alex's head upside down. Oh my god!
I get it.
Yeah, there you go.
So, Carlina, as you hear Bill yell from this terrible as he gets struck, the goat tool's like in triumph, raising another javelin just as the arrow hits it in the chest, and you hear it go as it kind of staggers away. And that's what happens in your melee. We're going to move straight into the declaration phase. I'll give you guys top of the round. Top of the round is this. Kazul, you are now in the same area as the goat tool with the shield and the sword. There are still two of these figures with javelins on the island. You guys are where you are. All right.
My
Engagement.
torch didn't do anything cool.
It did. It sort of flew over in like this cool arc, and it landed in the center, just lighting up the area a little bit more. So now you can see more details about your enemies, and they are slightly taller than you, kind of skinny, goat-headed. I'm not going to give you any mechanical advantage, but I'm going to say it was really cool. Well done.
As long as it was cool, that's all I care about.
It was very cool.
They are winged, right?
Sorry?
They are winged?
No, they're not winged. They just have very,
they're
very
goaty
powerful
people.
legs.
They just have, I didn't know if they were winged goat people. They just jumped across the gap with their powerful goat
With
legs.
their goat legs.
Amazing.
Good. Got it. Okay. I'm going to grab the first one that's in here now. I had ready to grab him. So hands on, grab him and bind him up tight and just hold him close, like bear hug.
Okay, that sounds good. We'll do an opposed check for that one then. But you are stronger than him. I'm pretty sure you're stronger than him. Good. Carlina, declaration.
Shooting the second dude who's out on the island.
Okay. The first dude isn't dead. I should.
Oh, now shoot him again.
Awesome. All right. Alex?
I'm going to hit this goat. I'm going to go to hit the one that's over here with the broken bow that I was still holding.
So you're going to move from one. You're going to move to the area that Gary's in, and you're just going to
and hit
into
him.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be fun because if Gary grabs him first, you're going to anyway. And finally, Tony,
Crossbow to the guy with the shield.
crossbow to the guy with the shield. All right, go for it. Okay, the challenge rating remains at 5. Armor class remains at 2. Please go ahead and make your rolls.
So I've got oh my fucking god. This dice is you're in the trash, dice. Get out of here. Go to bed. You 3 ones in a row off of that turret.
Oh, yeah. No, that's dice.
Oh, I just
fail
launched it
immediately.
into the corner of my room. I might never see that D4 again.
You're gonna step on that in 8 months and
Yeah,
hate yourself.
It'll still be a 1. Like you'll step on it, you'll look down as you
It'll
pull it out of
still
your
be
foot.
a
It's gonna have the 1 sticking up on the
The
top.
one is gonna be sticking in your foot.
So,
Oh man. Just point of order real quick. I get like I lost the is my grit still at a 1? Is that how that works? Like you get
Yeah, so
hit,
your
you
grit-
lose the fate dice, but like okay, cool.
Yeah. Once you, just in terms of mechanics, once you lose all of it, once the fate pool is empty, you start taking real damage. If any of your stats are reduced to 0, night.
Dead. Okay, cool.
Dead, like dead, never coming back.
Yeah, I got you.
So one of the games of one of the parts of this system is managing your fate pool using risk dice.
Sure.
And it's collective. You all have to work together to kind of keep this pool of good luck going. Okay, so hits and misses. How did everyone do? Tony, you want to go first?
so I've got a 5. So here's my question though. Like that's my 5 flat. If I use a risk dice, and a fate dice, and I get to 10, would we get a fate dice back?
Yes, but you can't combine. So the fate dice
Can't combine.
replaced.
That's right.
Yeah, they
Okay,
replaced
so
the
there's
roll.
no way for me to get high enough for me to crit. So success is as good as I'm going to do. I'm going to succeed.
Not at this challenge.
Not
rating,
on this.
but
No. Yeah, I get that, but like because it's a 5, I can't. There's nothing extra I can do. So yes, I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything that was on the table. Great.
Okay. So your action was to shoot the one that's close
Had the
to
shield.
Gary right now.
No, mine was to
yeah,
shoot the one with the shield.
Okay. Gary, what did you get?
Mine was a contested action between the beast and I rolled a 4 physicality.
Amazing. All right.
Let's get physical.
I'm not going to tell you how that resolves, but all right, well done. Carlina?
Rolled a 4 plus 1 archery for a 5.
Nice. So you hit the CR, which means you scored a hit. Well done. Alex?
So I rolled a 1, and I guess I get a +1 to stage, so it's a 2. But
yeah.
So if we still had a 4, you theoretically could have taken that, but you lost it last time around, so we don't.
it's all right.
You could take a 3.
So-
you could swap it out for a 3 and take the risk dice.
Yeah, you can use one of the 4s. You still have 4
Yeah,
existing.
we have more. We have other 4s.
I thought we only had
Yeah,
2
you have
fours.
one.
I mean,
No, we had like 3 4s or something like that.
Oh.
I mean, we're only playing for so long, right? I
Right.
mean,
Get it.
yeah,
Take one.
sure. So, okay, what I think I'll do is 3, 4.
So take the 4.
Well, if I take the 4, I hit him, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a 4. I'll take a 4 and hit him.
So you run up you're running up to the one by Gary and just bludgeoning him. I like this. The mental image of this is the goat run. So I'll just do the aftermath.
Yeah.
The goat swings at Gary, but again, like its sword is not very sharp, and Gary's armor is really good, and it just like jing, and you see the sparks fly. At this point, Gary just grabs it and holds it, and you can almost hear that. Like it sort of makes this noise as he like crushes the life out of it, and it remains pinned. At this point, you two, like a crossbow bolt, like goosh, hits it in the neck, and then you just start wailing on the back of it with a stick, and then sort of
Broken bow.
crunch. And it can't do anything. In your enthusiasm, you also hit Gary by accident. You're like crack, crack, crack. Sorry, crack, crack, crack. Carlina, your arrow goes through, hits the wounded guy, smacks into his chest, and there's this cry as it tumbles and falls, and there's into the distance as it falls endlessly into the darkness. Unfortunately, you were like, yes! And then a javelin poof, hits you in the chest as well, and you're just back down again. So you lose another one of your fate dice. What's your physicality?
She's got 2.
No, I have 2 grit points, so I lose 1 grit point.
Yeah, so you lose 1 grit point, so you're still in there. You don't lose
I
any
still
of your
have one.
fate dice. And that is what's happening. So, top of the round, turn 3. You've got a Gotor being squished. You've got a...
Did I do damage to that guy?
The Gotor?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you hurt it.
Cool.
As you were hitting it, you hurt it. It has more than 1 grit point, though, so it's...
Cool.
What the guy I shot?
Yeah. The one you shot and the one that is currently in a death hug.
Yeah,
So
he's
now-
above. He's grappled, he's shot in the neck, and he's getting beat with a stick. He's
Pretty
not
much.
looking great.
Take him down.
I will.
Um,
and I will.
So the top of the round now. The challenge rating goes down to 4. The armor class remains at 2. I've explained what's happening. Declaration round. What are you going to do?
You see, a goat's not tougher than a pig, and I break its neck.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's awesome. It's going to be another opposed. What is that? Physicality. Thank you. It's going to be another opposed physicality check. But yeah, that's awesome. All right, Tony, what are you up to?
I'm going to shoot the guy with the shield again.
Okay, the one that Gary is currently.
So last time I wanted to shoot the guy with the shield.
That is the guy with the shield.
Oh,
That
I
is the guy.
thought the guy was. Oh, that is the guy with the shield. I thought he was on the counter there. Oh, then yeah. Wait. So yes, and I want to shoot at that guy again.
Okay. All right. Alex.
continue to wail on dude with stick.
All right, Carlina.
Is there a way I can shoot the remaining person on the island and then step behind this group of melee circle people?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, that's fine. I'll give
Great.
because of what you're doing. We'll say that if that goat tour chooses to attack you this turn, it will have disadvantage because you're trying to move across as you're doing that.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
Thank
Good
you.
stuff. All right, make your rolls. Challenge rating is 4. Armor value is still remains at 2. Remember, any rolls of 2 are immediately ignored. Any rolls of 2 or less. You got 6.
I rolled a 4, and I have a 2 physicality for a 6.
Yes. Well done. Yeah.
I rolled
Alex,
5.
Nice. All right.
Wailing on this asshole. This dice is better.
I got a 5 again, and I'm going to give it a shout out. So when we did our Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland stream, we were using Justin Ciros dice, both myself and John DeCampos, and they kept on rolling 6s for this D6s. This is like my 3rd 4 in a row, which is this cool little sword here at the top.
Hey, there you
So
go. Weighted
Nice.
die.
Go check out Justin Ciros' stuff. I'll drop a link in the chat somewhere.
Awesome. And Carlina?
I rolled a 1, but I kind of want to take one of those 4s because I have a feeling someone's going to get hit, and I'd like to use it before we lose it.
We're out of 4s.
Oh, are we out of
You've
4s?
got 3 4s.
Oh,
You've got 3 4s,
yeah.
a 3, 2 2s, a 1, a 2,
Yeah, but
and 2 1s.
Yeah.
So we do have.
Another 4.
You took. So we lost one.
We've lost 1. I think
I think we
used
used 2
2
because we
4s
used
and
2
1
with a
3.
crit fail,
I used
and then we
2
used
4s.
1 for a
Yeah.
crit success. So we're out of 4s now.
Yeah. So we had 2. We had used 2 4s and 1 3 is
Yeah.
what we've used so
Okay.
far. So we should at least have 1 more 4
Okay, one
left.
more 4. Last 4.
If you have a
So-
look in the chat, right
Yeah.
now,
There
my
it is.
note, I'm keeping the wrist dice for you.
Sweet.
Keeping the fate dice for you.
Great. So I mean, I only need a 3 to get there, but I have a feeling someone's gonna get hit, and I would hate to lose a 4 just in my soul.
Sure, yeah.
I would just rather lose a 3 than a 4.
So you're going to go ahead and use the 4.
Yeah,
Now-
I'll take it.
4. Just a mechanical note. 4 plus 1 is 5. Great.
Yes.
Critical hit for this is double the challenge rating. It's an 8. Roll a 3 on a wrist dice and you get a critical hit.
Oh, you know what? Fuck it, because I'm running. The person has disadvantage to hit me. This
Yeah.
is probably a great idea. Let's fuck it. Let's go. Let's do it.
Do it.
I got 4.
Hey, there you go.
All right. So you have a great job now. Firstly,
Yes.
you've made a critical hit. Well done. And you get to roll the wrist dice and return it to the pool. So just roll another d4 and return that one to the pool.
A fate dice.
A fate
It
dice.
is a 2. It's a 2.
Nice. So just add it to the fate
Add it.
dice pool. at the bottom. Nice. All right. So aftermath phase. Here's how it goes. Carlina picks out the eye of the goat tour in the distance. You see this little glistening diamond. Draw your bow. Take a breath. Arrow flies straight and true. Goat tour sort of rah, rah, and just like pierces its skull. And instead of falling dramatically to its death, it just kind of staggers once and then just goes and is immediately slain. You guys, all right, this is such a fucking mess. While Kazul is trying to pull the goat tour's head off, you guys, like, a crossbow bolt, like, he's like, die, like a crossbow bolt comes in and like hits him in the chest, and it starts like sort of like coughing up blood. Alex like swings in, hits its face across, like crack. You hear the bones breaking its face, which gives Gary the final moment that he needs to like wrench it. Oh, sorry, getting excited here. Wrench it all the way around, and there's this sort of sickening pop thud as the goat tour's head ends up like all the way around, and it
That's
just
one.
kind of, and dies.
That's one. Keep it count. That's one.
And that
Sloane says nothing about the 2 on the island she's finished.
And that is the end of that. With all the enemies slain or fled, that is the end of the combat encounter.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm gonna take this sword if nobody else wants it.
Absolutely, go ahead and take it now.
I'm gonna take your arrows since you've ruined your bow.
Yeah, I hand you my 11 arrows left. I throw the shitty broken bow into the pit, and I pick up a sword.
Great.
Awesome. Yeah, go for it. So you pick up a sword. So you've now got a cutting, crude weapon. Gary,
I'd like to add the shield.
go for it. So a shield gives you an additional +1 to your armor class.
Hell
so your
yeah,
armor
baby.
class now goes up to 3, which is basically, since we're rolling D4s, hide behind Gary.
Always. I was doing that
Trying to
anyway.
do.
Who's in the front?
Who's gonna go? You guys gonna go through the goat? Well, you can't go through the goat tour's pockets yet because they're on the other island. But the dead one, you can certainly go through the pockets.
I'm going through the dead one's pockets.
Yeah, you are.
Awesome. You acquire a 1d4 wealth dice.
Oh man, it's another one. All right, so
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
stick. I'm gonna try to stick it in my backpack because I still have. Wait, no, I still have. You remember your acuity before you have to do anything, right?
Yeah, you
then
don't
we're
have
still
to roll
good.
until you
I've
beat
got
your
2
acuity.
dice.
Do the
in
wealth
my
dice
backpack.
kind of just like include like it's like a coin purse that's one item, or is each die specifically something else?
There's no hard and fast rule about this. I left it deliberately vague because I want GMs to feel like they're empowered to decide this. I generally say that if you give up a belt slot for a money pouch, your wealth dice continue to grow. Other GMs might say this wealth dice is actually a golden statue, in which case it's going to have to take up a backpack. So that one's very much a GM's call.
But it's also a way to force inventory management at your will, also too. So
Yeah.
Okay.
So in this case, Tony, what you find are some very crudely cast sort of possibly gold, possibly silver, could be a mix of both, little ingots, which you can sort of hold in your hand and
Who's
have
better
a nice...
than everybody else now, Bill?
Both of us.
All right.
That's right.
What do you think? Let's pool our resources and then pay people and buy all the means of
Let's
production,
start capitalism.
rent them out to other people.
Rent
I've
them out.
had this insane idea right now. We use our capital to take advantage of people without it.
And in this game of Deep Morfell, the Festival of Swords, the party invented capitalism and became exploitative factory owners and were never seen in the deep again.
Bill marches back out with an army of exploited go-to-tours.
Let me just save a kid. We already found like this much money. Let's just go.
It's more money than we've ever seen in our life, which is money.
So I should add, just as a little GM, if you are GMing this system, all of the monsters have a little card. It's a little playing card, and it tells you everything you need to know about them just on one card.
Yeah.
No stat blocks, nothing complex. Four numbers and a skill normally, and then their gear, and that'll give you a rough idea of where to pitch them, challenge rating wise, and also what they're capable of. And there's like 60 of them.
Or you just
in the
shuffle
core
the
rules.
deck. Shuffle the deck. Don't worry about party battles.
Yep.
You know?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, okay. No, not that one. No, not that one. No. That one.
Yeah. Who needs balance, honestly?
So let's take another just short 5-minute break since we did a 5-minute one earlier, and then we can flip around and march back down the other directions. Does that sound good to everybody?
Hell yeah.
Brilliant.
We'll be back
Awesome.
in 5 minutes at about 7 or on the West Coast. So I can't. My clock and my in my here are 2 different times. At 55 after.
Yeah, and
Great.
in Malaysia it's lunchtime.
There you go.
Of all kinds, so much. Okay,
We are
Down
back.
you go,
We've
buddy.
been joined by a faithful animal companion because we all just leveled up. We got insane powers. We opened up the art inside of ourselves. It's gonna be no, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
We just barely
Isn't the
survived
ranger
an
usually the
encounter
one with the companion?
3 goat people.
Dog up and send it over there.
And our loot is some money and a shield, and a sword. So
Welcome to Deep Morph.
That's
This is
Oh no, my stick.
So actually, just for people on the stream, I should probably talk about the art, which is the game has a magic system, and there's two ways of playing the magic system. You have a series of spells. There's like 20, I think there's 24 spells in the book which you can use. The art is extremely powerful. The art, if you use it correctly, is game-changingly powerful. You acquire words of power, a little bit like the Dragonborn. So over the course of the campaign, you'll acquire words of power as an artist, and you can use those instead of your combat action. There's a couple of things to note about the art. The first thing is, no one starts with the art, but everyone is capable of doing it. So what you can do is you go to a place in the village of Deepmoor. You beseech an idol on the right phase of the moon. You beseech the idol. You offer it a sacrifice, and then the idol will decide whether to bestow the art on you, which is great.
Or kill you.
Wonderful. Or kill you.
Explode your head right off.
Yeah.
Is the best.
You go there. You roll a d10. If you roll a 1 and you have no modifier, your head explodes and your character is dead. So that is part of the art. So to beseech the art is incredibly dangerous because it's magic, right? Like this is hard stuff. The other thing about the art is if you want to do it, you can actually literally play as an artist. There's a second way of playing it. Yeah, just like that. So what you do is during the engagement phase, during the declaration phase, the artist says, I'm casting this, and then without reference, very quickly sketches the symbol that they need to sketch in order to create the art. Based on how well they sketch that symbol, the GM is going to tell you how well that spell went. So if you want to go ahead and just like desperately scribble and be like, did I get it? The GM will be like, yeah, you got like 50%, or you got like 100%, or you got like that. So if you want to play as an artist, you can play just by rolling acuity, like just a normal roll, or you can actually play it as an artist,
Wow.
which is something we've really enjoyed. I'm very clear in the rules about it, about how subjective it is. You have to practice this with the GM before you do it, because your expectations of what they want and what they actually want have to be aligned for this to work.
It's
if
a really
you
cool
can't
system.
make that.
And it's one of those things again that ramps that stress level up of like, hey, I could roll a dice, or I could try to make this practical player based skill, and I thought it's really cool. So
and without breaking the adventure too much, the other thing to say is the art is so powerful that if you use it correctly, you can either alter the fabric of reality. So you can say to the DM, I'm going to change the challenge rating for this turn. I'm going to remove the armor value from this turn. So you can use it as like a supportive, or if you get the most important, if you get one of the most powerful words of power, GM's advice, only give this in the very late game, you can change the game. You can say, if you get it right, if you get it wrong, you die. If you get it right, you can remove a rule. For that round, you say this rule doesn't apply. So we're not going to have armor class this round. We're not going to have a challenge rating this round.
We're not going to have movement.
Everything hits.
That's
So
awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool magic system. I'm really excited about it. Let's dive back in. So do we want to head back down in the same order but in reverse?
Well, I should.
What?
I just wanted to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just to clarify, it is a 10-foot jump to the island on the other side. If you wanted to go towards the island, or you can double back and head down the other corridor.
Just with the torch that we threw and is on the island, were we able to see anything past it?
Yes, very vaguely. You can see that the island is broken down, and then beyond that, effectively to the north, to your front from where you're looking, is the flickering entranceway of another broken bridge area and a door beyond it.
Okay.
Do we want to try to go over there?
Hey guys, I'm just saying this. I think I can make it. I think I can make the jump. You think we can make it? We think we can make it. We think we can get over.
Somebody might have to catch me.
We don't have I don't have great fleetness, but I do have that spear you gave me. Could I potentially use it as like a pole vaulty thing to maybe aid me on this in any way?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great idea.
Amazing.
Sure. I'm not going to give you advantage. Actually, no, because your fleetness is so low. I'll give you advantage for using that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait for someone with better fleetness to go first.
I mean, I mean, that's like
me.
I'm role playing. I mean, I've just got 2 fleetness. It's my like big
That
and
makes you
2
twice as good
physicality.
at fleetness as the most of us.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's my one big stat that I've got right now. Is I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I can make it.
Go for it. We still got risk and fate dice left.
Yeah, we can go. All right. I'm just. I guess I just take a like kiss my boy and just run and leap over.
So as you run up to now,
I've had to chase these. I've had to chase Psyhens over like chasms before. I've leapt.
So as you approach, you realize that this area is full of fear for the people. So this environment, the area around the island, anyone who is afraid of the unknown, darkness, or futility, you will be suffering from fear, and fear means you're at disadvantage. So do we have anyone who suffers from
that's not me
the
at all.
unknown, darkness, or futility?
I'm unnatural.
I'm
Excellent.
also unnatural.
So in this case, you are scared, but not terrified. Scary, but not so bad. All right, so go ahead. Alex, make your fleetness roll. Tell us how it goes.
Okay. It's a 2, but plus 2, so it's a 4.
Nice. Yeah, you run, you leap, moment in the air, crash down like a good foot or so.
I do a
on
blade
this
landing.
Yeah. You only rolled a 2, man. Come on.
I try to do a blade landing and I fall on my ass.
That's all you need.
So you try and do the 3-point landing, and then you slip on the blood of the goat tool that's there, and you just oh shit, boom.
I remember that I'm wearing a ridiculous helmet, like unbalanced me. Oh man!
All right.
You said I had advantage, so I rolled 2d4. Or...
Double your base skill.
Oh,
So-
double your base skill. Okay.
Yep.
That's right. Oh, I rolled a 4 and then plus 2, so it's a 5, 6.
6. Nice. All right. So Alex, like Bill, kind of.
Hold on, I'm
fucked
confused
up
about advantage now. She rolled a 4, right?
Yep.
Don't you
I mean,
double,
my
you
fleetness
double
is-
that?
My fleetness is 1, and that's the skill
Double
I
the
double,
skill.
correct?
Got you.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's a 2 to 6.
So you while Bill is like sort of has overbalanced and like there's this clong as his helmet hits the floor, like you sort of sail over him, and the landing that he really wanted to do, you fucking nail it right in front of him.
Okay, pretty cool, pretty solid, very good, very excellent. Get up, wiping blood off of me. Hey guys,
I mean,
guys, are you coming?
Do we need to go over there?
I don't know. We could look around.
For GM's head load, I'd rather we didn't split the party to make it easier on me. But there's nothing that says
I'm
you
just
need
trying to figure out if they're going to keep on going. Like,
Yeah, there's an entrance on the other way. I'd rather not have to fight as much as possible.
Okay.
Personally, so that's why I'm going this way.
I mean, I will say this. I don't know if that kid with the Giants kisses would have like jumped over the fear chasm. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. But it is nice over here.
You couldn't have said that before.
Leap with
No,
ease.
I definitely have leapt, and now I'm looking.
I got a 4 also too.
Nice. All right, so we'll do. Gary was saying something.
You can tell that's a family that's been jumping for ages. That kid could have probably frog hopped across this gap with just a jump snip and a whicker. I bet he's already 100 meters further down the cavern.
All right, well, get over here.
All right, so are you coming?
Everyone ready?
God. Oh, God, we're all ready to catch him.
We'll like get there so we can like grab.
Yeah.
Jump and belly flop, right? You're going to try to catch me, okay?
I set my spear on the edge so it gives him like an extra like foot to try and reach for.
Somebody cut me down here. I run and I leap out across the cavern.
3, 2, 1, up!
Make a roll. Add your fleetness.
Rolled at 2. My fleetness is a 1.
All right. So, spoiler warning: the challenge rating of that encounter was 4.
I think this is the time to use a die, or is it too
yes.
late? All right. I'm gonna. We have a 3 left. The challenge rating was a 5.
You can use a
So
risk
I'm
die
gonna-
also.
You can use a risk, or you can just take one of the 3s.
If I take a 3, then we're good. Then we're good with my 1 fleetness. Let's take a 3. Let's take a 3 and we'll be done with it.
Wait,
Okay.
Awesome. So there's this moment where you're like, oh shit, my foot's slipping, and it starts to slide away, and then fate intervenes, and you get a grip, and you continue running, and you leap like a whale, like a flying whale, through the air with all the grace of a flying humpback whale.
It's like
And
Free
on the
The force
Willy
of a raging river.
seeing my childhood all over again. It's 1992 and Free Willy jumps over the levee.
And you land, and it's beautiful.
I believe I can fly. I believe.
And Tony, after all the drama, you just kind of like run, just jump, and make it look incredibly easy, and just like, what's everyone doing the fuss for, guys?
I'm still laying on my back, breathing and sweating like it's the most difficult task I've ever accomplished in my life. Oh, good thing there's no more gaps to jump from here.
Yes,
You
probably
stand up.
absolutely no more fallen floors in this dungeon at all. I bet that was the last one.
Yeah, you
Ooh.
stand up, look to the north, and see that the floor has fallen away, and you're going to have to make another jump to get to
Hey, son
the
of a
doorway.
bitch.
Oh my gosh, I'm so ready to die here.
All right. I mean, we're doing this, right?
So, do you want to have a look at? There's piles of stuff on the
Oh,
island,
right,
stuff,
yeah.
Stuff. The entire reason we
which
came down here.
you might want to take a look around if you want to, or you can just continue your
No.
goat like jumping.
I mean, these goats obviously came out to this island in the middle of nowhere for a reason.
Yeah, let's look
Yeah,
around.
right.
Oh yeah, this is where the water fountain's at. Look at that.
The vending machine.
Is that a Snapple? Hey, get me a Snapple out of there. You guys have all the money. You're more important.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and search through this this gobbledygook.
All right, so you go through the 2 dead goat. Well, the 1 dead goat talk, because the other one fell to their doom. That has another additional 1d4 wealth dice as well. So whoever is collecting the money should probably pick.
I'll
that
put
one
it in
up.
with more. I'll put the money in with more of the money.
Awesome. So that's another 1d4 wealth dice. You also find. I have to roll a dice. This is exciting. I don't get to do this. 3. There are 3 stone-tipped javelins as well. So they would be archery crude.
I'll snap up one of those bad boys. Put it in his pack.
Awesome. Anyone else?
I'll pick up one of the torch that was thrown out here earlier by Ricky.
That's awesome. And last but by no means least, there is a crude bow with 12 stone-tipped crude arrows. So anyone that needs a bit more ammunition, that might be worth picking up.
Yeah, why don't I actually? I think Carlina, can you hear us now?
Nope.
Carlina's having technical issues, I think.
I have a torch in my pocket that I have to drop to make this happen. I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
You back, Carlina? Okay, cool.
Sweet. I think. What up? I think so. There's a bow out here, and I think I'm gonna grab the bow, and there's 12 more arrows, just so that we have another twangy person, right? As instead of just the 1 javelin, which goes away after I throw it, right?
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Unless somebody else wants the bow, like we should have as much ranged attack capability as possible, right?
I've got the shield and the hammer, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. You don't need range. You stay in the front.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm always happy to have a backup.
Sure, then take it. Then you take it. That makes total sense. I'll supplement.
So Sloane Ranger is turning into like the John Wick of Rangers. She's got like one bow and then another one, and then like arrows, underarm sheaths.
You never know what you need.
Hell yeah.
So on your little stone island, looking around, the darkness is thick and the wind is rushing up again, and it's just a sort of spiraling into this noise of rushing wind. Sorry, like spiraling into this gale, and you can't see the bottom of this this drop. You don't know where it ends. You don't know if it ends. So from where you stand, effectively to your, if you are looking at the doorway, which is to the front of you, there is another way with a very crude, sort of carefully lashed bridge to your left, which is sort of lashed together out of bits of rope and wood, and is even in this gentle breeze, it's like, and that would effectively come back the way that you've come.
Oh, okay. That was there the whole time.
Yeah, it was.
Cool. All right. Well, should we do we want to jump? Somebody, y'all got to stop me. I'm just going to jump off.
I mean, at this point,
are we sure
forward.
there's not another bridge just that we can't see yet?
There is clearly only the one bridge here, and it was the one that you chose not to use.
Sweet. Do we just straight up not see it before? God, that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty fragile, and seeing it from the side,
Okay.
you wouldn't really be able to see it because it just looks like it's very, very thin.
And it's not
kind
a
of swaying.
Kazul class bridge either way. Like,
I don't think I would have made it across the bridge. Let's be honest.
Yeah, let's I think just keep going if that's the plan.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's do it. I jump.
All right, make a fleetness check again.
Whoa. Let's check. Come here. God damn it. Okay, different dice. 4.
Nice.
Yes.
All right.
Thank God.
+2, right?
Yeah. No. I
So-
rolled a 2, so it's a 4.
Oh, it's 4. Okay, so that's the challenge rating again. It's another 10-foot jump. Run, jump, land. Still, it's like a 5. The jump was good, but like the landing,
Sure.
put your hands up.
God, I mean, I've got this fucking helmet, man. Thing going around in my head.
Yeah, like you land and then the helmet just like flips over your eyes and blinds you for a minute.
Ugh.
Before I jump over, can I teach anyone who wants the javelin trick so that they can get a little help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone who wants the javelin trick.
Anyone who wants the javelin trick.
Oh, that looks like that's gonna snap under my weight. And I turn and look at Tony's guy, Ricky. Like maybe he wants to learn.
No, I'm okay. I'm gonna run and jump. And I rolled a 2 + 2 4.
Nice. All right, so you land sort of comfortably on the back. Like you land a little bit close to the edge, and like you see the stones like fall away from that, and you hear them. You just watch them tumble for a minute into the darkness beneath you.
I rolled a 4.
Who's next? You rolled a
Plus
4.
My fleetness and then the advantage you gave me. So 6 again.
Nice. All right, so you like sail through the air, strike a pose, look dramatic, land, pose again with your spear.
Yep.
So cool. She's so cool. Do you believe how cool she was? You see how awesome that was? Whoa. Yeah. He thought it was really awesome.
And finally, Gary.
Is a 1. I did roll a 4 for a total of 5.
Okay. You see the shape approaching. Leaps like the Hulk. Legs waving in the air. You guys all kind of step out of the way, and it just crashes down in front of you and slides a little bit
All right.
along.
Just as one, all
Lord,
3
you
of
have
us.
moves like a cat. You're amazing. Yeah. I move like a bull. I'm surprised I landed over here.
Sorry. Serious GM face. Sure. Yeah, so you guys have landed. Behind you is a long, deep drop. Ahead of you is a corridor. The corridor goes for about 10 feet, 10, 15 feet, and then turns quite sharply to your left. And there's a doorway on the right facing the corridor. So like a closed door on your right facing the corridor. So if you were to move down the corridor, you would turn left, look down the corridor, and the doorway would be directly behind you.
Got it.
Nice.
So what's your plan?
Can we see anything down the corridor? Like if I walk up and just turn to the left?
Stones, flagstones, more flagstones,
Okay.
more flagstones.
Cool. Hey, you guys, this hall's long.
I think we can get in marching order and start making our way down.
Can we listen at the door real quick?
Yeah, sure. You'll have to move up to it. So are you going to move up to the door in your marching order?
Oh, I guess in my head, sorry, I had like walked up and like looked down the hall and it's like right behind me and I just like stick my ear to it.
Got it. So you walk down the corridor. You get to the corner and you see the door to your. Well, effectively, you turn the corner and you look behind you and the door's there. Ahead of you is another corridor, maybe about 20 feet, and there is a noise coming from that corridor. There's the sort of the braying noises of the goat horse that you're now relatively used to, sort of like ma 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 ma, and then there's also this, and there's a like, and then there's some more, and then there's some meat slicing noises going on as well, echoing down the corridor. But because it's dark ahead of you, you can just see another doorway, and there is clearly a space beyond it. But that's maybe another 15 feet ahead of you, and the door that you want to listen to is still just behind you. Do you still want to go ahead and listen at that door?
Yeah.
Ignore the violence. It'll be fine. Take an acuity check, please.
2.
Total roll?
Yeah, I rolled a 1.
Wow. Room's empty, man.
Join your friend.
What are you doing?
I was trying to listen to the door.
Yep. And that room that you're listening to the door is completely empty, you think.
Okay, cool. Well, there's nothing in here. What's going on with the violence?
Well, if there's nothing in there, do we want to open it?
I'd say
Maybe see
you're
if
not
something.
hearing anything, and there being nothing in there are two different things.
That's a fair point.
Maybe we should
They make a fair point.
the
People.
child inside. He
Mm,
may be hurt.
that is true.
Cool. Should I open it?
Well, hold on a second. Let's.
Yeah,
Everyone.
I've been kicking doors. You have no idea how many doors I've kicked off hinges in my village. That's why they started to call me door kicker. It's not a great thing, but I've heard worse.
Yeah, let Bargain Bin Shrek do it. Let's everyone.
Yeah, I would say let's. I'm gonna pull out my crossbow and take a couple steps back from the door, giving him plenty of space to do whatever it is he plans on doing.
Yeah, I'll just flank one of the sides of the door.
All right, the moment of truth. Kick the door. Don't look stupid. Just kick the door on your first try. All your new friends are counting on you to kick the door. Just kick the door in.
I rolled a 2 plus my 2 physicality.
You don't need to test this. There's no danger of failing.
My man!
You kick the door like whack.
Oh hell yeah, I do.
And it just swings open, like it wasn't even on the latch. It was just like leaning, and you just bang against the wall. And yeah, well done. That looked cool.
I cheer. I let out a loud cheer. If anything's
boy.
in there, it didn't hear the smack. It definitely hears the celebration that follows. All right, the ladders. I did it on my first try.
Sloan reevaluates letting you go first every single time.
I should mention at this point the noise of violence from the other room down the corridor. And there's some in the distance. Anyway, what do you want to do?
Cool. Everyone get in the room. Put the door back on and just
What-
close it.
What's inside the room? Kazul?
As I kick it, I kick behind me, as is the best way to kick a door. So I kick it open and step out of the way and let you guys go through, yielding everyone else the movement. So it's all yours.
What?
Yeah, okay.
Can we see anything from the torchlight of Kazul's standing in the door, to the side of the door frame?
You can't see anything obvious there. So the room is fairly empty. There's piles of it's kind of grubby looking. There's some rotten boxes there with crumbling wood. There's piles of fabric, and one of them is fairly almost like rags thrown into a box, and one of them is clean, and the other one is absolutely thick with blood and excrement and stuff, as if it's some kind of as if it's been thrown away. So in the
it's
corner
goat laundry.
Goat laundry. I want to. How much cloth is this? And is it one long roll of cloth, or is it a bunch of different?
It feels like a collection of rags from various different places.
Okay.
They don't match particularly, and they are torn. Either they've been washed and used many times, or that they were taken off whoever was wearing them. You do recognize kind of a lot of the fabric looks like the shirts of the people that you met outside, and it's not their shirts, but it's very similar.
A lot of red bandanas in this
yeah,
spot.
a lot of linen, a lot of white linen, which is awfully familiar, and a lot of red bandanas as well.
I just dump both of them. I pick them up and dump them both out just to make sure we're not missing anything.
Nice. Take an acuity check, please. Actually, everyone take an acuity check.
6.
Ooh.
4.
Nice. 3.
Oh my god.
Oh god, not again.
Alex is so
I'm gonna run out of D4s, and I have 7. They're all in that corner.
So who rolled the 6?
I did.
It was Tony, correct?
Yep.
So Tony, as you're dumping out these fabric rags, they land to the floor, and you hear just in the very corner of your hearing, you hear a ting of a little metallic thing, and you're like, oh, what's that? And then you go down and you start pulling it apart, and you find a gold chain about this long with a little gold icon on it as well. Maybe a god, maybe a deity, maybe a lucky charm or something. But you get that, and that is worth an additional 1d4 wealth dice.
He keeps taking all the money.
Can I just put this on?
Yeah.
There's not a
absolutely.
slot for it. I just want to make sure, from an inventory management standpoint, can I just put on the cool necklace?
Sure.
All right.
Sure. You don't need to put that one in your inventory. If you decide
I will
to wear
mark it on my sheet, nevertheless. But yes,
it has no mechanical advantage.
It looks like a blessing from the gods. When you get out of here, you should use it. See if you can learn the art.
Word.
Maybe. And that's it. That's all in the room, right? That's all we got.
That's all that you can discover.
Cool.
Okay.
So,
should we
what's the
head
plan?
towards where there wasn't any violence, but there was violence, but now there's not any violence?
Yeah. Does the chittering sound like it's coming our way, or that it's getting quieter, or that they just killed everyone and now nobody's screaming?
Acuity check. Because there's one you can mess up.
I got a 4.
Ooh. All right. It is still in the distance. You can't tell whether it's because echoes, right? Echoes underground. You can't tell whether it's getting closer or further away.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that the sound of violence is finished, though.
Okay.
And now it's mostly just
I'm sure means something completely different in their society.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I mean, maybe.
It's universal across all languages.
Mhm.
Universal language.
Yes, that's right. That's why even babies know. Shh.
As you turn around, as you leave the room, you look down the corridor towards this dark space, and you see coming towards you, like a shape, like on the floor, kind of dragging itself along the floor towards you, and it's got like poking out of its back. It's got 3 long sticks, like a hedgehog's,
Spines.
Yeah, the spines. Thank you. And it's just kind of.
Is it a person? Oh,
It's another one of these goat creatures that
goatasaur.
you fought earlier.
But
this one.
These are not. I'm going to guess these are not natural spines.
No, as it gets closer, you realize that those are javelins, thick, hafted javelins, which have been driven through its body, and it kind of crawls about halfway to the distance, dragging blood as it goes, and then it kind of and like vomits blood out in front of it, and then gives like and then stops moving.
Delightful.
Ricky, you want another wealth die? I'm sure he's got another one you can find.
I don't know what it. Check this guy. Look at him.
Beautiful creature. You have given your life, and you have expired with such. Quick, loot it! Take everything.
I mean,
Ricky is going to check it, but also, like, if it is not, like, make sure it's dead.
Okay. So you how are you approaching it? Are you sort of
this is an elaborate ruse?
No, but I just don't want to get next to the body. And then
have it lash out. Yeah,
I take out my crossbow and I get about let's say 4 feet away, and then I shoot it in the head.
Okay.
I don't need slowly watch you do the whole thing, really confused.
You don't need to check for that because it's not trying to defend itself, and like you guys watch as Ricky creeps it up, and you're like, what's he gonna?
Oh,
should have seen that coming.
That's one more for Ricky.
Did these?
Well, if it wasn't dead then, it definitely is dead now.
Do the weapons in it look like they are the type of crude weapons that the humans brought down, or more the stone-tipped weapons of the other goat people?
Neither.
Neither.
They look to be they look to be a third, not unique, but these when the goat tour spears, the goat tour javelins were long, like tall for the goat tour size. These are a lot shorter, and the shafts are a lot thicker. And each of them has like this little black fabric swash kind of embedded beneath the head. So these javelins in particular would be too short for a goat tour to use.
Okay.
Effectively.
And are they still just crappy javelins, though?
They are still crude javelins, yes.
Okay. It's a different type of crappy javelin.
It's a specifically culturally designed crappy javelin.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Excellent. Exactly what my anthropological background told me. I will check this guy's body over for notes and other items.
Do you speak goat?
I don't, but if there's a note, then I know they have a written language. That's new
The
information.
stick does. The stick speaks goat.
You speak goat? No, he does not speak goat.
That's disappointing. Does he speak stick?
Did you even speak stick? Oh yeah, he speaks like 15 different kinds of sticks.
Sticks in each
Wow.
language.
He talks to the javelin. What does the javelin say? The javelin says that it wishes it wasn't so crappy. And it's got a whole complex. It's working through it with its therapist.
Hey,
I don't know what a therapist is,
has a
but it
point.
sounds like way too much for us to get into now.
Just with like the history of this new crappy javelin, is this something we've never seen before?
Yes. This is something you've never seen before.
Into the
Guys,
unknown.
I think there's another kind of creature down
No.
here.
No, it is something you've seen before. Memory check. Everyone take acuity. Challenge rating 5.
Okay. Let's try a whole nother.
I'm going to take
Nope.
I'm gonna take a wrist dice.
We already got it. We already got it.
Okay.
I mean, do you, man? Do you?
What did you get, Tony?
Also, it's like you think it's
I had
super
a 4.
hard.
I was if we got it, that's fine. I don't need to take it.
All
No,
right, all right.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and take a wrist die.
Go for it.
Because we could
Go for it.
We could potentially
What's
like
the worst?
re-up our fate
What's the
pool if
worst
we-
that could happen with an acuity check?
Right.
Well, the thing is, if you critically succeed on this acuity check,
That's-
you get a
that's the-
fate.
that's
You
my
get a
point.
fate dice
Yeah,
back.
That is 7.
Good. Didn't mess it up, but the challenge rating was 10.
Okay.
Well, the critical value would have been
Right.
10. So good try. Because you got the highest value, I'll just say this: this spear is the same spear that went through the thug at the beginning of the dungeon, and it's the one that
It's the one I had.
Bill.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it's the one that Bill's through. But it's not the same as the javelins that
It's
the
not the
goat
Gotar, it's
was
something
thrown
else,
at.
right.
Yeah.
And nothing else on the body.
Oh, well, in terms of the body, there is stuff. So the body isn't armored. It's got sort of an apron on that Crom would find very familiar. Sort of underneath its body is like this bloodstained apron. In the pocket of the apron are like fabric, these pieces of fabric just kind of stuffed in there, and some of them are bloodied and some of them aren't. And around its waist, it's got this sort of crude belt with very sort of delicate looking iron tools. They're still quite crude, and they're not worth anything, nor are they good as weapons. They look more like something a chirurgeon or a barber might use.
Okay.
Oh man, you gave somebody a bad haircut, huh? Someone was not pleased.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
That is-
All
So,
right. Let's we want to continue down the hallway in marching order.
yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's play the game. Let's get into some more shit before it's too late.
so you head down the corridor to the main doorway. The doorway is open. There's a sort of crudely arched roof, maybe about 8 feet high. The doorway is probably about 5 feet wide at the same time, and it opens onto another larger space. Kind of important. How are you doing this?
I would like to be as quiet as possible.
Okay.
So,
You can choose. Each of you can choose to take fleetness or acuity on this one. Fleetness means that you're doing it with clever feet. Acuity means you're doing it with your brain. So, like sticking
Fleetness,
to the
please.
shadows.
There it is. There he goes.
Which one
there
did
goes
you
Big
choose,
Bill.
Kazul?
Like the wind.
I was thinking perhaps I'll just bring up the lid. Maybe to scream if you need me.
nope. This is why I brought it up.
I picked
no.
fleetness and I rolled a 1.
Yes. I mean, no. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I rolled a 5.
You rolled 5. Excellent.
I should re-roll the 1. I should take the fate point and re-roll the 1.
You could
I don't
take the
want to.
fate, or you could use a wrist die.
Yeah.
You
could-
Honestly, use
Let
get that fate dice. Honestly, I would say.
me get this 1 out of here. Let me get this re-roll.
All right.
It's a
So
2.
you-
It's 2 this time. It's so beautiful. For a 3 in total. Absolutely amazing.
You guys have never seen an elephant, but you can imagine what an elephant sounds like from the noises coming
Wait,
behind
you still have to have at least 1 point that you're adding to that.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's the 1 fleetness.
So he's got
Okay.
3. So rolled a 2, add 1.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So roll a
we're-
2, add 1, 3,
Mhm.
add 1
3.
again for your fleetness is 4,
4.
which still sounds
Still
like an
not
elephant
there.
walking down the corridor.
Wow.
So the person who goes first is Carlina's character, Sloane, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you go into the room, you see that the room kind of broadens into like a wider room, and there's sort of old moss and water-stained pillars down either side. In front of you are several stone biers like you'd find in a mausoleum. Except these stone biers don't appear to be for the dead. On them, you can see the stretched out shapes of Gotors, some of which some of which have got like the fabric wrapped around them to staunch wounds, and other ones who've got clearly had signs of like stitching on their bodies to try and help them survive. But that hasn't really helped them because somebody's cut all their throats. At the end of the room,
there was one rule, and you have walked us into a morgue.
Oh no!
It's not a morgue. It's oh wait, no, it would be a it's a hospital
So
gone
those of you just
wrong.
joined us, we did lines and veils beforehand. It was like always sexual violence on our channel is a hard line. Veil on occultism, and then morgues was the other thing.
No, I think it's a crypt, right? It's a
Yeah,
crypt.
There you
it's
go.
not
All right,
morgues,
it's
'cause
the
morgues
crypt.
are
Totally
where
chill.
you dissect
It's a bar-
bodies. This is just
it's a
where you
boiler.
lay them.
Would you, Alex? We can always roll back 5 minutes, and I can redo that. Would you prefer that?
No.
Oh no, it wasn't my thing.
Oh
It was
yeah,
Gary's
sorry,
thing.
It was
Gary.
Gary's thing.
Would no?
No,
Are you sure?
there's not large stone columns.
Mhm.
We're fine.
He's
Yeah,
never been
it's
in a
more-
morgue that looks like this.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah, don't think of it as morgue. Think of it as a field hospital gone wrong, because that's
Sure.
exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's a field. It's a field. Like the people that were on the Gotors were clearly they were trying to heal them.
It's like a
And
really
then some-
sarcastic Gotor in the corner drinking a martini, and he's giving orders to a little tiny Gotor with a little hat.
He would be if that Gotor hadn't crawled out into the corridor.
Oh
and
no, it was
died
Radar. Radar
because
got
someone
killed?
shot them in the head
Oh,
with a
no.
crossbow.
Oh, you killed Radar the goat.
That wasn't Radar. That would have been like that would have been like Hawkeye.
Yeah.
It looks like once upon a time this was a decent place to set up a defensive position.
Right.
And now it isn't.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
In the-
since that one guy just crawled out that these people are recently dead.
Well, yes, because the other thing which you see there as well is you see the people that did it,
Oh, cool.
Cool.
or at least the creatures that did it. Anyone? Oh, by the way, anyone who has the fear of death or loss is going to be affected by that in this room. So if you have the fear of death or loss on your character sheet, okay, Carlina, all your checks are now at disadvantage, which means your 1 becomes a 0.
Would that be regardless of the stat level, or is that because of like is it down 1 or is it cut in half, or what's the
It's cut. I think it's cut in half. Yes.
cut in half?
It's cut in half.
Cut in half rounded.
So, yeah, cut in half rounded down. So disadvantage works the same way as advantage. Advantage doubles the base. Disadvantage halves it.
Cool.
Because it's really distracting. Over at the other side, you see where at the end of the room, it kind of goes into like a little curve section, and part of that has collapsed, and there's rubble around this area, and there's little figures, little darks, little sort of blue and purple skinned figures with large white eyes. Sort of, they're not wearing very much. They're wearing sort of loincloths, but they're the ones sort of looking at each other and sort of talking to each other as they're
I look at him, I go, shh.
Well, the thing is,
our language.
they kind of knew you were coming because you made so much friggin' noise when you
What?
first when you opened that door. They definitely knew that they heard you. There's 8 of them. There's 8 of
Okay.
these little figures. 4 of them are noticeably smaller and kind of look to have like picks and spades and stuff which they're carrying. The other ones are a little bit bigger, and they've got these short hafted javelins. The room in which you're in has 4 areas. Where you are right now, there's a central area to the left where there are columns and pillars to take cover from. There's a central area to the right where there are columns and pillars to take cover from, and there's the area at the end where you can see the entrance to this tunnel, which has, you assume, been newly built. They knew you were coming, so they're immediately, the 4 at the front are immediately going to welcome your arrival in the best possible Duskling fashion with a hail of javelins.
Nice.
And we are in combat. We are
Nice.
in the engagement phase. So, what do you do?
Get behind me! And I put my shield up in a defensive position to catch this hail of javelins.
Awesome.
I
I
shoot
would like to
across the bolt and yell, "Let's go back!" my new opening move.
I would like to shoot and again run behind Gary's character.
Okay, that's fine.
I scream insanely and run right at to like just like I have to my boy and just like going right at one. Just
What's your fleetness score on that one?
me.
What's your fleetness score? Yeah.
2.
All right, so you can get from the area you are through the central area into the area where they are because it's 1,
Yeah.
2. So you can get to the other end of the room. So you just
Yeah, that's the plan. Is that I'm just gonna like go at him.
which means you can make an attack at the end of your move.
Sweet. I'd like to do that.
Awesome. All right. Okay. So the challenge rating for this one again. Now this is a little bit lower because the challenge rating is 5 again, but the AC for this is only 1 because the people you're fighting don't appear to actually be wearing very much armor at all, and they just kind of heft their spears and hurl them as you go. So make your rolls, please.
Yeah, baby.
Challenge rating is 5, by the way.
Yeah.
Mine is a defensive position. Would you like me to roll anything or just hold steady?
Hold steady, and we'll say that anyone who takes cover behind you can use your AC. So that would give them effectively AC 3.
Exactly what I was going to ask for. What a great ruling. I like that.
Amazing.
Oh.
When you do what I want, I agree with you all the time.
That's so good. So good. And what would I like? Yeah, sure. I would love that. Everybody has a 3 now. He has to roll higher than a 3 to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well, just like
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So hits and misses. How did it go, Tony? How did you? Tony,
I rolled a 5.
a 5. All right. Yep. That's a hit. Just tell me hit or miss. You guys know the scores. Hit. Gary. Oh, Gary's not doing anything. Alex.
Oh yeah, I hit real
Nice.
good.
And Colina.
Miss.
Oh,
That's
all right.
disadvantage.
Oh yeah, it sucks, right?
So aftermath.
Shooting the lights out back in the chasm.
Do you want to use a wrist die?
It depends. Do they still have disadvantage on me for running for cover?
No, but you get to
Okay.
take advantage of Gary's AC.
Fuck it. We still got fate dice. Who
Yeah.
cares? Yeah.
Let it ride.
Oh hey,
Go.
that's a 5.
Yeah, nice one. So excellent. All right, aftermath phase. Here's how it goes. All right, so I forgot your character name. Kazul takes up a defensive position, raises his shield. The first javelin comes over his head. He's like, "Yeah, it's fine, it's fine." And then you kind of drop your shield to look at it, and the next javelin and just goes straight through your finds that heart hole and just like drives into you.
You
So
know, I
you
really
lose-
didn't think there was much of a chance of it landing right in the heart hole. So I'll take that down to 1 for now.
Yep. So you lose a grit point from your attack. Alex, as you run forwards, you see the little dustling creatures throwing javelins at where Colina and Gary are. They don't appear to have seen you as you come in, and you come in and you just bring down your staff on the head of one of the dusklings. That sort of little creature, like you hear this crack, turns around, drops its javelin, draws this tiny little dagger, and just drives it into your chest in revenge. And you lose a grit point as well.
Well, there goes the fate die.
All right, so we lose a fate dice. The other ones, kind of, you see, like incidental javelin fire. Like one of them goes over your head, Alex, as you're approaching. Now, you guys charging in. Alex, you bring the stick down. It hurts the guy. He goes down. Colina, you pick out the same one Alex is shooting, So you're like, and you release at the same time. Stick comes down. Alex gets stabbed. Arrow comes in. Down the dustbin goes, and there's 3 of them left.
That's 3.
Dead.
At the same time, you see
Very good. I ducked my head.
at the same time you see the 4 dustlings at the back go look around with like panic in their eyes, and they like drop their tools and go and then just immediately start jumping into the hole behind to flee back down the tunnel. At the end of the round, there are only 3 of these dustlings left. The challenge rating remains at 2. The armor rating remains at 1. What do you do? Declaration phase.
Sure.
Hold
I'm
my
gonna
defensive position.
hit another one.
I shoot one.
Yeah,
Okay.
hit another one.
You've got 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. Which ones are you going for?
One.
I was about to say 1 for me too, just because I assume it's the like closest one.
Go for it. Carlina?
3.
3. All right then. So that one's dead. Okay. Make your rolls.
What did you say the challenge rating was?
4 for this.
4 for this.
Yes. You wailing on you and me, Shanks, beating ass.
So hit, miss.
Miss.
Hit.
Missed. Oh no.
Hit, but I'm trying to decide if I want to crit because it's high enough that
Ooh.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
do.
take a risk die.
do it.
9.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Critical hit. And that was on dustling number 1, correct?
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
mad dead. 'Cause
Oh,
I
yeah.
hit him too.
Yeah.
And then
Um,
I rolled a 3 for the fate die.
Nice. So add that one to just copy down where you are and add a 3 in the chat to the fate dice. All right. Here's how it goes. Meat shield, cut price Shrek meat shield. Another javelin is like tossed your way, and you raise the shield and ding, and it just like bounces off your armor. But it's so close, like it bang comes off the edge of your shield and like goes over your shoulder, and you like feel the wind of it in your hair as it goes past. By the way, if you hadn't had an armor of 3, that would have hit you.
Very good. Very good.
Alex, it's been noticed that you are coming in from the side, and another dustling like turns. Now you were So you and Tony. He turns. He drives like he throws at close range. It hits you in the shoulder. It comes off like you lose a grip point from the impact. So bye bye.
There goes another
Bye-bye,
fate
fate
dice.
dice. Like it comes off, and then you come in and you crack it, and you're like and then you like sweep it like a baseball bat up into the air, and then Tony's just like boom, and it just hits him, and you see like the dustling's head spring back as the crossbow bolt goes through its throat, and then a crash hits the floor at the bottom. Carolina, picking out. Sorry, I keep getting your name wrong. Sorry, Carolina.
No worries. Happens all the time.
Carolina, you see one, you see it, you aim, you hit it in the leg. There's this noise as it collapses and starts like trying to crawl, even while it's picking up a javelin and getting ready to throw it back at you. All right, so 2 dustlings left. The challenge rating is now 3. The armor rating is now 1. What do you do?
Sloan, let me know if you want to move. I'll keep you covered.
If I can hit from here, that's fine. I don't need to go anywhere. I'll just see if I can hit.
Bulwark, keep this hallway blocked, shield up.
I hit another one.
I shoot
Yeah,
I
let's
shoot
try to end this.
Who you guys say we've got 2 and 3 left?
Yeah, 2 and 3 left.
Well,
I'll
3's a
shoot
little asshole. I'm gonna hit him again.
I'll shoot at 3.
3 is the one that's crawling around with an arrow in his leg. So
Yeah, I like to take them out when they're weak. Okay, so 2 standing up, 3's on the ground with an arrow in his leg.
yep,
Okay, I'll take 2.
So you
I'll shoot at 2.
2 is wounded, and then Carlina, which one are you going for?
I got a 2. I'm gonna risk dice it because I'm tired of being useless. It's a 4.
Hey!
And are you going for the wounded or the unwounded one?
I'm going for the wounded one because he had the audacity not to die the first time. Honestly,
And Alex, in terms of targets, sorry, are you going for the wounded or the unwounded one?
I mean, I guess I was going for. I mean, just the 2, I guess, because that's the next one in the order. So I'm just
Wait,
trying
was the challenge rating 3?
Yes, the challenge.
So I got a
rating is
6. I got a critical hit.
Yes,
I did.
Nice one. Good job.
Woo! I'm gonna risk also too.
I also am. I got a 5. So.
And I got us
I got
a
a 7.
4 fate dice back.
Nice. And what did you get, Tony?
I got a 7, so we'll get another 3 fate dice.
You had another 3 fate dice as well.
I'll add that.
I got an 8, so another fate dice as well.
So roll. You got
Yes.
After a risk, and it's a 2.
Great.
Nice. So everyone add those to the pool. There you
I
go.
got
Got some hit points back there, which is effectively what fate dice operate
Right.
as.
they're party flexible hit points / roll.
Ooh.
dice.
Okay, so here's how it goes. Tank, Gary. Oh wait, sorry. No, you're not involved in this one. Like, no one's chucking anything at you. You're not scary enough.
Sounds good to me.
Unfortunately, Carlina, with a 4, you step out from Gary, and the unwounded dustling, which you shot at, just like hurls this javelin, and you see it in the air, and you're just not quick enough, and it bam hits you in the chest, and you sort of fall back with a wound in your side, sort of cursing why you didn't keep the metal armor that you were given, and this leather's also weak.
It's fine. There goes that 4 I just got us.
It's all right.
It's fine. That's what it's here for.
So, the critical hits, they end the dusklings. The dusklings are just done. The archers, like, you see the wounded one, and he's trying to raise his javelin, and he throws it, and it's a bit lame, and it sort of skitters about halfway, and then before he gets a chance to realize that he's missed, he is dead from arrows in his chest, just like thump, 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 just dead on the floor. The other one, Alex, comes at you like, nah, but you're ready for him, and you clock him on the head to distract him with one end, and then you just bring the stick down overhead, down on his face, and you just hear his skull go like crunch, and then he collapses, and he is dead, and combat is resolved. Apart from, in the distance, you can hear the panic of the little creatures as they and then they just keep running off into the distance. Tony, how are we doing for time?
We could. I mean, it depends on how everybody's feeling. We're about at the end of the 4-hour mark that we usually go. But if we want to go a little bit longer and then talk about the system, I'm okay with that. But if other people have time constraints, also we can go ahead and chit chat and talk about the systems. It's up to everybody else.
I just say that we're about 3/4 of the way through, but that still might be another 2 hours to finish off, because there's a couple of really fun encounters.
Yeah, let's go ahead and call it a pause then. 2 hours is late here. It's also late other places that are not here, and so it's not late in Malaysia.
Lunchtime. I'm gonna get a pizza.
So we've got a thing we're doing that I'm trying to figure out exactly how it fits in. We're gonna take a page from one of my favorite podcasts, though. So we've got a little segment that we like to do called Reaction Roll. So this is a live stream within a live stream. Where we basically talk about what we liked about the system that we're playing right now, kind of get everybody, all the players, different thoughts, and then hear a little bit from Kieran about some of the different things that went into this, and then let everybody ask him any questions they have about the system also, too. So you guys as players get to share a little bit about your thoughts. Also, make sure you tell people who you are as we're going through. So this is Reaction Roll for the Dark Peaks, and it's been a really phenomenal play session, getting to play with Gary and Carlina for the first time. Always a pleasure to have Alex on. Getting to check out Kieran's system. We're just going to start with Gary. I'd love to hear just any thoughts you have, positive questions you have, anything else like that about this system.
Yes, I'm Gary Avenger. You could follow me on @CasualtyCDG on Twitter, or on Twitch at the same name. I'm part of the Fresh Out the Box podcast, where we review tabletop games that are either indie games or just games that aren't D&D. We read rules, we play games. You catch us there, and follow me on Twitter for comedy, man. I'm a comedian on the side, so you never know what you're gonna get. All kinds of nerdy stuff. Playing this system, I really liked the fate points that could come back. As you use your advantage, you can regain your advantage. You can also lose them and botch terribly. And like Alex showed us right out the gate, the first thing. Here's how a botch works. That was a lot of fun.
I was kind of trying to commit suicide for 4 hours, and I just couldn't pull it off.
All the health points that we have stored up in our bank, and those being tied to fate as a tank character, are really cool. Also, and it lets everybody else make big scenes happen, and it lets me stay back and contribute just as much as anybody else.
Very cool. Any questions you had about the system, Gary?
I would just like to see it. It was kind of hard to keep track of the fate points. There's a lot of numbers around. I'd like to see it in motion in a longer campaign, so you really start to see those fate points drain out and really get you on the edge of your seat. For a quick play, I just didn't get to see that mechanic, and I would love to explore that further.
If I can come in on Gary's point, yes. Now the Festival of Swords, it's an introductory adventure, so it's bizarrely enough, it's the nice version of the game. You don't get 3 in the main game; you get 2. So instead of having a fate pool of 12, how many we had? 12. Yeah, 12. You'll have a fate pool of 8 at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So the Festival of Swords is designed to get the players to the end of the game, so you don't just snuff it halfway through.
And it really, to me, seems like you could, if you were playing that as a meat grinder, which we started one of our Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. All of us started with 3 characters that were effectively level 0, and we all had different personalities and ready to go in, and we didn't know who was going to be our winner and who we were going to play, basically, until the end of this savage beat-down meat grinder of a dungeon. And this reminds me of that, where it's like, there is no chance that you survive. And the less fate points I give your team, the more terrifying getting through this becomes. And you can really start your adventures off in a really, really nasty, fun situation that really lends great.
And as things go wrong as well, you have to start, as the challenges build, you have to start using those fate points just to pass checks. We've, again, if you feel like being a mean DM, you can up the challenge rating to something that people can't hit. The impossible challenge rating at this level is 8.
I barely made it across the chasm.
Right.
I had to take a reroll for the chasm. I rolled a 1. That would have been it. Bye-bye if we'd have used our fate points up.
Yeah, exactly. And as soon as, especially with low-level characters, when you run out of fate dice, the next hit takes D3 off a random stat. If that stat, and that's a permanent reduction, you can heal it back at the end of the dungeon, but it costs you money. But if you, for the dungeon, that's your stats permanently reduced. And if you go to 0.
Yeah. Awesome. Carlina, tell people how to find you and then some of your thoughts about the system.
Again, Carlina Parker. You can find me at Carlina_Parker on Instagram or at Carlina Parker on Twitter. I honestly had just so much fun with this combat stage, just because of how fast it was and how you had to make choices really quickly. I'm used to D&D style combats, so it was really nice to be able to just be like, no, this is what I do. Does it work? No, cool. I do it again. I don't know. Because I think you mentioned that it's supposed to be chaotic and it's supposed to feel more like, making decisions in the moment and less about well, exactly how far away is he from me? And is he within my range for the spell? No, then I'm going to change it, which can end up being what D&D is. And yeah, it can take forever. As far as questions, I did wonder, since fears gave you disadvantage, I was wondering if motives ever came into it. Say, if Sloane's fear of loss had led her to her motivation of self-sacrifice and she had dove in front of an arrow at some point, if that would have done anything special or cool.
Yes, it would have. If you can identify with the GM in what's called the dungeon, the expedition aftermath phase, you can overcome fears. It gives you additional experience points, and as long as you can identify a place where you've overcome your fear, you can change your fear or you can lose that fear completely. You can also acquire new fears as part of the aftermath phase as well. So it's kind of risk reward. But yeah, if you can demonstrate to the DM, or the GM in this case, that you did something that would be against your fears, you can lose that fear, and then you no longer have it. It's part of there's a thick element of mechanical character development which goes into these characters, and what you've just described, absolutely.
Awesome.
It's in the game.
Awesome. Any other questions you have, Carlina?
No, that was from the little taste I got. That was my one. I'm really excited about this one.
Awesome. Alex
I-
Murray, our favorite Alex Murray. Go ahead and tell people where to find you, and then what were your thoughts about the game?
Our Alex Murray all over the internet, Twitter, Instagram. You can just Venmo me money directly there. That's fine. And I'm a comedian, and the Missing Sock Podcast Network is my network of podcasts that I'm the executive producer of. I'll shout out my one that I'm on. Check out the Child's Play podcast for reworked children's music and Kids Bop reviews. It is an insane podcast, and our Kids Bop version of WAP is taking over the airwaves. It's very good. Anyway, I loved it. I mean, again, the like pressure cookerness of the combat, and I think Kieran and I were talking about during one of the breaks, like how nutty it must get when you're actually sitting at a table, and it's like literally you can just like you've got like an actual pool of dice there, and I like the sort of hungry hippos element of like of combat for this is very, very cool. And I really love the consequences of it. Like that's awesome. Just that you don't get too attached to your person, because like you just die.
Yeah.
But there also seemed, I liked that for a like what I thought going in, it might be like really straightforward, like a dungeon crawl, like we were just gonna kill, that like there was a whole lot of like role play and fun, and like, you know, I think what did I tried to bribe somebody, and you were like, okay, well that's never happened before, cool. Let's resolve it. So it's like the nice open-endedness of it for a GM is very cool. Yeah, I want to keep playing. Like I want to go talk to this glowing obelisk, and I want to draw stuff, and I want to be an insane stick wizard. And yeah, man, this is a fun game.
That art shit that we didn't even touch. Like that's so exciting to like even like as a component to this game.
Yeah, Gary, what were you gonna say?
I got one. I was a little confused as a player about where the base stats and when they doubled when you were rolling them with a check. Like if my fleetness was always a 1 or if it was always a 2. If it doubled.
So if you have advantage on a check, that's when it doubles. So if you're said that you have advantage on a check, you just double the base skill. We tried playing it like D&D. We tried 2 dice, pick the highest. Statistically, it's not powerful enough. This system is, in a strange way, if you don't mind me just sort of talking for about a minute about where this system comes from. The truth of it is, and I really wish I'd had the guts to write this into the game, and I think whenever I do a second edition I will, the game is a dark melodrama. It's designed to have that very melodramatic, you win, you lose, there's no in between, and it's all brilliant or it's all awful, and everything is over the top, and everything is melodramatic, and everything is big, and you've got to take insane risks, and the gods are on your side, or they're not, frequently. And that element of melodrama was expressed through the advantage system, because advantage is so huge in the system. Like you can go from, if you have let's say the challenge rating is 10, and you have a weapon ability of 4. You get advantage on that. You're fighting somebody 8. You only need a 2 on a d6 to get a critical hit. Like that's the level of melodrama it should be. But then when you're sort of in the disadvantage, when it's not going well, it's really not going well. So it's a peaky system by design. We wanted it to feel peaky, to have moments of high success and then moments of terrible danger, and kind of none of the porridge in the middle. Like we just wanted to try and like minimize as much porridge as we could, and just go for like full on highs and lows as an emotional experience for our players. Like it's part of the design. We built it like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like you don't think about how much a -1 to with disadvantage will influence combat. But like that first combat, I was like, one shot in everybody. And then this last one, I didn't have my archery bonus and I was basically useless. It's like insane how much that tiny margin of error can mean complete failure.
Yeah. And like I said, it's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, I'll have my full thoughts in a review later on this week, but I love meta mechanics. So I love the dice pool management. I love the fact that as you go deeper, you get more powerful, but you also have more of a likelihood of failure as you take those risks, which I know we didn't get to play any of. I do love that there is, like, it does feel like even with a lot of OSR systems, as level 0 as you might start out, like a level 1 character and a level 0 character are worlds apart. And so in a lot of OSRs, when you're starting out as like a level 1 character, well, you've got 3 or 4 really cool abilities you can use to form a basic combat loop. In this system, like even in DCC where you're doing a meat grinder and like you're able to kind of like say, I've got these 4 guys or 3 guys that I control, somebody else has 3 or 4 folks that they control, like, and we're all going to funnel them through. Well, you can still kind of figure out even within the people you have what your combat loop is for the level 0s you have. With this one, there was like you can ask Alex. I'm the kind of person who loves to like stock up on weird crap before I go into combat, and then in the middle of combat be like, oh, I do have this bottle of ether and I don't want to use it to knock anybody out, but I do have a gas mask that I'm going to slip on first, but then it's highly flammable, so I'm going to set them on fire afterwards. Like that's like the kind of thing that I would, there's nothing like that. It's like, we've got rags, we've got swords that I don't really know how to use. We've got like, but every single little thing, I was just like,
well, but this game sort of stops you from doing that, right? Like I enjoyed watching you go like, oh God, I can't just shove everything I want in my pockets.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, which even so, I was just like, I'm a tinker. Like, I mean, I could loop some of this stuff together. I could take that belt and try to do something with it. But at a certain point, it's like, that doesn't even feel like what I'm supposed to be doing at this point for my character. So just don't do that stuff. Just embrace those different pieces. I also do like that it's a system where bad guys will run away. Like, they're not all just going to fight till the very end. No one wants to die. They don't want to die. That's not what they're here for. And so, like, yeah, if half the guys just got slaughtered in a round of combat, like, they're going to run off. Like I said, I'll have more thoughts later on. I would love to hear from you. Maybe just kind of tell people a little bit about like where they're going to be able to find this, because I know you've got a drop coming out this week. And then just kind of if you're just your elevator pitch for the system. Like, if somebody likes this system, it likes what they're hearing us say about the system, kind of what do you have to say about it as the kind of creator and designer?
Okay, well, you can find this this is dropping on the 14th, which is, I think, Monday for everybody else. It'll be dropping it's going to be dropping early morning US time, because that's what time I'm going to do it. It'll be available through DriveThruRPG. It'll be available through Itch as well, if you want to buy it through Itch. If you follow us on Twitter at TailsPeaks, you'll be able to find that. There'll also be a discount code for people that follow us on Twitter. So if you pick us up, follow us on Twitter from the 14th, we will be handing out discount codes to new followers. So you'll be able to save 25% on the price of the book. You can follow us on Facebook with The Dark Peaks. You can also follow us on Instagram with Kieran of The Dark Peaks, where you'll see not just The Dark Peaks and the stuff that we're releasing now, but also future releases which are in process, and we'll be doing something completely different in about February, which is going to be quite exciting, and which I'm quite excited to show people, but not quite yet, because I'm enjoying playing this a lot.
Awesome.
In terms of the elevator pitch, I'm not very good at marketing. It's like one of my weakest elements.
I was going to go to your DriveThruRPG and just read the description for you, but it's not live yet. But I'm sure there's a beautiful one to find somewhere. I'm sure one of your introductions covers it.
I would just say this system is fast, furious. It's stressful, but it's not too stressful. It's dangerous, but it's not too dangerous. It's a dangerous, balanced dice-based system, which is just a fuck ton of fun to play. Like, taking the risks, using the risk dice. Like, it has a wonderful feel all the way through. It's intense. It's a blast to play. You guys have all enjoyed playing it, and to be honest, that's all I really need to see. Like, I obviously I love this game, but seeing people enjoy playing it is it's even better. I love it.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Sweet.
fast, furious, dangerous, and joyful.
Awesome. Well, I'd love to give everybody else a chance real quick just to kind of plug who they are, where they're from. If you have a project coming up you're excited about, I know you guys just said all the stuff you do, but Carlina, do you have anything coming up that people should check out in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, actually, I'm currently in rehearsals for this little like interactive theater gig over Zoom. It's called Seize the Show. We're doing a Christmas show actually called A Christmas Karen. It's really funny, and you get to it's with like this technology where you get to influence the story and like who you meet and all that. It's really cool. It's Seize the Show.
It's very cool. Gary, how about you? Anything that you've got coming up that you're super excited about?
Oh, we do weekly Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition stuff right now, so you can jump in and see me playing a system that's way darker and way grittier than Dungeons & Dragons. Also, we've been doing rule readings for Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, which is the core rule book for Savage Worlds, and we're looking to start a regular campaign sometime in January with a special celebrity guest. Can't say too much until we have dates, but I'm freaking so stoked.
Awesome. Alex, what review or project do you have coming up that you're just really excited about?
I mean, Missing Sock Podcast Network, all of it. There's like 8 shows. They're all great, but Child's Play, Kids Bop, nonsense. Check us out.
I'm going to plug, here at Plus One Network, we are basically a brand that multi-classed in tabletop game design, beard and skincare, alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. You can check us out anywhere at Plus One Exp. We've got a game that's going to print after way too many delays, unfortunately, at the very end of the month. So it'll be available in January, called Beards and Beyond, which I'm hoping to get Gary and Alex into a monthly adventure for an ongoing campaign that we'll be able to bring other people into as special guests. And so, Carlina, you are welcome to come play. We'll set up with the beard. I'm absolutely stoked. We're gonna set up 2 regular players, and then we'll have 2 featured players every single adventure.
Yes.
But I'm really excited about that. It's a game that I put out last year at Zine Quest. But what I'm actually most excited about right now is I have created a 2-page hack of Honey Heist that was being called Holiday Heist. But we've actually changed the name to the Santicide Squad, and you are basically a group of Dinsians from the North Pole who nobody would have expected to be Christmas's last best hope for salvation. You can play as elves, automatons, a member of the Claus family, but something has gone wrong. It's December 23rd. Christmas is in danger, and sometimes to make the nice list, you've got to be a little bit naughty. I'm going to pop it out in the Roll for Content group, so if any of you guys who are on stream want to play, I'm going to pop up a couple play times for that over the next couple weeks.
Tagline like that? Are you kidding?
We'll also have that available as a free download for the next couple of weeks around Christmas time, and then and it'll be available on itch, drive-through, and all the other places that we sell things. You can also go to plus1exp.com to get it there also too, and we'll be floating ads around the internet for it also too. So guys, thank you all so much for playing. Kieran, thank you so much for running. We're going to hang out and chit-chat a little bit with each other, but for all of you guys who are watching out there, I know we had at least 4 viewers the entire time. If you were any of our diehard fans, go ahead and drop a comment down there. And also thanks to somebody help me out here.
That's my game master. That's the board game guru and my game master, Jahananan. He has all of his own stuff to follow at Rockfact on Twitter, but we are the fresh out the box team. And there's a third guy, but he doesn't believe in social media, so don't worry about him.
John, thanks for the follow, as well as Casualty CDG, which I know who that is also too. But guys, thank you so much. We'll talk to you later.